No one fucking believes this, man. No one believes this. Your fucking Nazis literally ended up shooting and killing yet another American citizen. Obviously, we're going to start with the federal agent involved shooting in Minneapolis right now. Details are still coming out. It's a breaking story, but I was following it closely with a bunch of people, a bunch of activists on the ground, but also you know, word of mouth spreads pretty fast around these parts. But outside of that, you know, I was talking to a bunch of journalists as well, and it does feel like it's just a straight up state-sponsored execution. I mean, it doesn't feel like it. It's just that is what it is. And obviously, we're gonna get right into it. I'll blast off real quick. Do we have a blast off meme? Open presents. Thank you for the gifteds. Thank you for the gifted subs. You know. Yeah. I don't know what else to say. Yeah, I got the playlist. Thank you. There's an old playlist. I updated it. Okay. Thank you for that. Yeah, there's a live coverage happening as well, but before we hold on. Oh, Jesus Christ. I'll give you guys a regular coverage on like what took place first off, and then we'll do it. We'll do the we'll do the live news coverage as well. Is there one that just basically describes what took place quickly for those of you who have not seen it yet? Because it seems like he was an observer. We'll be looking into the background because the state, after assassinating this man, another 37-year-old, by the way, 37-year-old American citizen, according to law enforcement, that came out earlier this morning outside of Glam Donuts. Basically, and this is Omar's take on it, he released a statement. He said, ICE murdered another person in my district this morning. This was a flat-out execution, horrific and absolutely in the hands of these untrained, untamed agents. Every single one must be held accountable for their actions. We can no longer allow them to continue on their spree. Yeah, it is pretty fucking crazy. It is pretty fucking crazy. I know we have all the live streams and stuff. I'm just... I'm gonna get into the live streams, but I want to see I want to see a brief summarization of events that took place. But things are getting pretty heated out here. Like I'm in downtown Minneapolis currently, and it's I've been hearing cop cars all morning. It does seem like police have been called back. Off-duty cops have been called back into duty, and they're gearing up with riot patrol. They're gearing up with riot gear right now at the Minneapolis Police Department. So they're not like it seems there's no definitive summarization. Man, just give me a fucking news. Give me like one video of a news broadcast. And that's all I'm asking. And not an Instagram reel, please. And I'll talk over it. I'll explain exactly what took place because I'm gonna. Okay, here it is. This is good. This is fine. All right. Also, we blasted off, okay? Here it is.
With breaking news, U.S. media are reporting that one person has died after being shot by federal agents in Minneapolis. The Department of Homeland Security said the situation was evolving, but claimed that the man who was killed had a firearm and 2 magazines. The incident comes less than 3 weeks after the fatal shooting of Rene Good, which has already sparked protests across the city. Thousands of Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, agents have since been deployed to the Democratic-led city as Republican President Donald Trump intensifies his nationwide campaign to deport immigrants.
Yeah, so the mainstream media's narrative is repeating the Department of Homeland Security narrative, which, by the way, at this point is the least reliable order of events. I'll just start there. Basically, this morning, I get a text message from some of the local organizers that another shooting has taken place. We dig into it. We find a Facebook video from the incident from Glam Donuts across the street from where this person was shot. A bystander video shows several agents wrestled with a man on a city sidewalk in southern Minneapolis moments before the shooting. And Police Chief Brian O'Hara has issued a plea for calm as protesters gathered at the scene. Please do not destroy our city. He also actually told the federal agents to follow the laws. But basically what took place is, and I'm going to show you the video. I'm going to show you the footage. Is actually, I'm going to give you a trigger warning ahead of time because it's pretty awful. You can't really see any of the blood or anything like that, but and therefore I think it's like I can show it without hitting a terms of service violation here, but it's a really gruesome image. So I put it on my Twitter page earlier this morning as well, and I'll start there. The victim, as far as we know, there's not a lot of details on it, but the victim, as far as we know, is a 37-year-old American citizen, and basically the claim is that the Department of Homeland Security's claim is that this person was actually trying to violently attack them or something, and it's not the case. And this is the first video that came out this morning. He was a lawful gun owner. He wasn't doing anything wrong in the situation as far as we can see, and he was also a 37-year-old. You see a guy pull the trigger on the gun? Wait, what? Are you talking about the ICE agents? Yeah. Here. So we'll start here at the incident.
Man, and they keep pushing people,
So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 ICE agents that are surrounding this suspect, this victim. Okay. So he is, I think he was 51, not 37. I thought they said he was 37 years old. But I might be wrong. I think initially I heard he was 51, but then they reported that he was 37. So same age as Renee Good. So yeah, Jacob Fry said he was 37 years old. I think the initial report said he was 51, but anyway. He's surrounded by 8 agents here, and there are people filming the incident from across the street. There's a lady here also that is filming the incident directly. And according to The Intercept, the victim was, according to an eyewitness that told The Intercept, that the victim of this morning's fatal shooting by federal agents in Minneapolis appeared to be one of the several legal observers who mobilized this morning outside of a donut shop. The witness said he hid in a doorway with others, fearing being shot as well. So is it weird to think you're in the same city as this guy shot? No, it's also like right down the street. Like I'm not super far away from this incident. Like this is actually one of those things that like this is the difference between like being far away in Los Angeles when covering the news and then being like directly where the where the things are happening, right? Where you have a very different experience with it, and obviously I can never understand what it's like for like regular Minneapolis people to exist under this like insane military occupation from the federal government. But no, I didn't hear the gunshots. It's not that close. But my point is, like when you're here, you're like, okay, like what if you went out there? You know what I mean? What if you went out there and you were just getting donuts? Like you could have just as easily like. You start thinking, okay, well, anywhere where there are ICE agents is a threat. Okay, it's very different when It's very different when you can visualize it, when you can see it directly happening. In any case, what ends up taking place here is as they are pummeling him to the ground, and you will see in a second in this video, they basically take him down to the ground, and they've surrounded him. There's at least, like, as far as I can see, like 5 agents that have their hands on him. They're apprehending him in the most violent way possible. Okay, and then you will hear gunshots being fired. As soon as the commotion advances here, there's another ICE agent as well. The one with the gray jacket is the one to pay attention to here. So they start pistol whipping the victim. One of the ICE agents starts pistol whipping the victim. This ICE agent back there draws his service weapon. Okay, and the one with the gray jacket, as you can tell from over here, actually pulls out a gun. Now it seems like the one with the gray jacket is actually pulling out it looks as though he's pulling out the victim's the victim's weapon, potentially. But then the first shot gets fired, and then I won't show you the rest of this here.
Oh shit! What the fuck?
Multiple shots are fired, and then another ICE agent backs away right here, and you can see him. This is right after he's fired a shot. Numerous shots, as a matter of fact. The lady that filmed the video posted. I know there's another angle, but I don't think it's the. Oh, it's the woman on the pink. Oh, it looks like it could be. Okay, or maybe another person. So I don't know who shot the first, who fired off the first shot, and obviously I'll take a look at the second angle off screen as well before I see if it's safe for stream as well. But this is basically the safe for as safe as possible version of this angle. It's the first angle that came out. But if you watch this 39-second video in its full in its entirety, you very quickly realize that this is just a straight up ISIS style, IDF style execution. It's completely unacceptable, and yet it's yet another day where ICE is behaving in this way. Okay, because he does not stop shooting. And you can, I'm going to show you another still frame here because there's not a lot of gore or blood in it at all. But the victim at that point is definitely dead. He's laying lifeless on the ground. And that guy who backed away continues shooting at least 3 or 4 bullets into his lifeless body at that point.
Did they fucking kill that guy? Are you fucking kidding me, dude?
Yeah.
Not again. Are you fucking kidding me? That guy's dead.
So that's the 39-second video that went viral all over the internet shortly after it happened. And then immediately, I would say like approximately 30 minutes after the video started spreading, the Department of Homeland Security came out and fed this information to their favorite Fox News correspondent, Bill Malugin, saying, breaking news, DHS tells Fox News the suspect was armed with a gun, which has been recovered by federal agents. Now, very quickly, this was going to be the meta. One of the things that they also said, according to on-the-ground reporting, before we get to the second angle, guys, I have the second angle. I'm going to talk about the second angle. Just hold on for a moment, okay? Please, let me gather my thoughts here, okay? So basically, right as the incident was taking place, they very quickly secured the perimeter, and by that I mean they just took into detention every single person that was there, that was a witness, that was filming. The Tribune reported on this. They said that ISIS transported several witnesses into detention, and they also refused local law enforcement from surrounding the scene as well, from what I understand, and ICE attempted to order local police from the scene, but the police chief O'Hara refused. Sources said O'Hara instructed his officers to preserve the scene. And it's very clear that just like with Jonathan Ross, the first thing that these guys do after another, unlawful state-sponsored execution is to basically cover their own tracks. Like they immediately are like, all the witnesses, we're picking them up, we're packing them up, we're shipping them off into a fucking facility. We're gonna see what they have. You know, we're gonna try to threaten them. God knows what, with God knows what, to claim that they also are like a part of this process. Kurdish Hashti, please talk about the humanitarian crisis occurring. Chatter. I don't think I'm going to be able to have time to cover that today. I'm sorry. I'm literally fucking like a couple blocks away from where another American citizen was assassinated by federal agents in broad daylight after a massive direct action took place yesterday. So it's going to be, time and place. Don't say shut up, chatter. I mean, it's a pretty consequential, pretty significant thing that's going on in Rojava. I just, time and place. Okay. Like this is pretty crazy. Okay. So, but as I was mentioning, this is taking place in an American city once again. An American city that has a history of like labor organizing, labor militancy, an American city that actually just had more than 50,000 people take to the streets yesterday and do a one-day general strike with labor unions that were involved, even though from what I understand, some might have even been a little reluctant initially to do a work stoppage at all. But the reason why they did it, the reason why they all did it is because the people are very frustrated. Everyone is sick and fucking tired of this bullshit, okay? Everyone is sick and tired of this nonsensical bullshit. And I do think that it was odd that there wasn't a lot of mainstream media coverage on this, but you guys saw I was there. It was an incredible moment of solidarity. Here is how many people, like briefly you can make sense of like how vast, how large, how widely participated yesterday's actions were. The reason why I'm starting here with this story is because instead of seeing people from all different walks of life, instead of seeing people from all different backgrounds, from all different places of business, different industries, Minneapolis, people of Minneapolis, people of Minnesota, that are frustrated with what this government is doing, what the federal government is doing. Instead of looking at that and then responding with a de-escalation, it's very clear that ICE was on high alert and decided to behave in the exact same ways that they are, maybe even more violent than before. Here it is. Just so you understand how giant these crowds were. And you also have to remember, this was taking place in minus 20 degrees with wind chills. This was, this is the type of temperature, as you saw from my own personal reporting on the ground. This was the type of temperature where if you're outside, it was like literally 30 degrees warmer in the Arctic Circle, right? This is the type of temperature where if you're outside and you don't have like proper gear, or even if you do have proper gear, you can still get frostbite on your fingertips. Like I almost literally lost fingers. And the only reason why I'm bringing this up, get mad, stop being calm. Okay, you need to fucking calm down. I'm a news broadcaster, okay? Like, shut the fuck up, chatter, okay? I'm going to calmly describe to you the events that I partook in and also explain to you what's going on and what's next, okay? Please, Jesus Christ, I understand why everyone is fucking angry. I myself am also very frustrated, very angry. But, I can't, this is my job. I need to be cool, calm, and collected to the best of my fucking ability here. Anyway, so this is the other angle of the incident that took place, the assassination that took place. So that came only a day after this massive demonstration took place in Minneapolis. Okay. AP reports that officers said boo-hoo in response to angry protesters after a 51-year-old man was shot and killed by federal officers. So there's that as well. Anyway, let's take a look at the video that's 3 minutes long. That is not a safe angle to show, by the way, but leading up to the actual incident, this is going to be safe for the most part. So You see a couple ICE agents getting out of their cars here, it looks like. This is the lady in the pink that we saw from the different angle. And here is, I believe the person that we're seeing on our screen is the guy in the hat is the victim. Do not show, guys, I'm not going to show the actual moment of assassination, okay? Can you calm down? Jesus fucking Christ. So he does not have, he has a phone camera in his hand. He has a phone in his hand, and he is, you know, the victim here, you can briefly see, is getting in a, pulling out, is pulling away another legal observer. Okay. The victim here is pulling the victim in the brown jacket, okay, is pulling away from an ICE agent who pushes another. These three people right here are all legal observers, okay? As you can see, he has a bottle of water in their hands. The ICE agent right here pushes this woman, who also is a legal observer with a bottle of water in her hands, to the ground. And then the guy that they end up shooting is trying to pull away, like is trying to stop the ICE agent as he tries to stop the ICE agent as the ICE agent shoves this woman into the ground, into the ice. In the process, the ICE agent clearly tear gases or pepper sprays the victim. Okay. The victim has his hand up. He has his phone camera in his hand. The ICE agent continues to tear gas him directly into his face, pushes him away, starts tear gassing all of the other legal observers in the area. Hold on one second. I have to open the door real quick. One moment, 1 second. I had to get my freaking cold brew on. So, as I was saying, wait, where is this? Did I get a freaking 1 second, chat? Okay, I've ordered a bunch of stuff. As well this morning to make this more bearable, to go outside. I ordered heated socks and heated gloves as well. Hopefully I'll be able to get it, and more outerwear too. But so the ICE agent, before the other ICE agents come around, the ICE agent starts violently pepper spraying everyone. At this point, the legal observer is trying to do his very best to pull the other legal observer away from the tear gas, to pull them up, and as you can see here, this is I'm about to go full cam here and not show you the rest of it, because from this point on, they're entirely focused on him. Okay, and you can see in the commotion, they're surrounding him. Now, at no point does he actually pull out a gun, at least from this angle, and you can't really see it from the other angle, but at no point does he actually present himself as a significant threat. This victim, every step of the way, in the first 51 seconds that we can see, is actually trying to de-escalate, is actually trying to stop the ICE agents from tear gassing these other legal observers. Okay, the gun was confiscated by another agent prior to the shots being fired. Yeah, no, I think that's what ends up happening. I think he's a lawful, legal gun owner. Here's some more scenes before the shots are fired here. It's not very easy to make out, but okay, so up until this moment, up until minute 1, there isn't anything that takes place here, but I suspect this is right when the shot is going to get fired. Minute 1 in the video, I'm going to go full screen here. You can start seeing like some of the cops surrounding him reaching for their service weapons. For the record, like, or not cops, sorry. One of the ICE pigs right here is pulling out his service weapon. There's a bunch of others that are also pulling out their service weapons. But there's approximately 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 total ICE agents surrounding him while the legal observers are trying to get out of the way as the victim is on the ground. He's not only surrounded, but they're violently and physically trying to apprehend him in a pile. And then the first shot is fired, and the commotion takes an entirely different life of its own from that point on. And you can see in the videos, I mean, this is a direct, from this angle, it's even more heinous. You can see it's a direct shot fired, almost like a oh, Jesus Christ. First shot, and then the second and third shot, and you can see him like his lifeless body flinging into the ground, where they just pull back, but almost making like contact with the barrel of the gun on this person's head and shoot them in a straight up execution. And as his lifeless body hits the ground, they continue shooting. And then, last but not least, as all of the ICE agents around this victim have dispersed and pulled away from the lifeless body of the victim on the ground, as you can hear, that one last ICE agent gets off 4 additional shots. And he continues. No, actually, that was 3. And then shot 4 and 5 is fired as he backs away. They literally back away from him. Like they take 3 or 4 steps away from him and just open fire. This is irredeemable. This is indefensible. This is cold-blooded, state-sanctioned murder. Okay? No interest or investment in de-escalation. They immediately surround the perimeter and they start screaming obscenities and screaming commands at all of the horrified onlookers. I believe it was 10 or 11 gunshots in total that they struck him with. For those of you who are wondering where I found this angle of the video, Dropsite News has the second angle from the lady in the pink shirt. Shots fired after police in Minneapolis struggled to subdue man brandishing gun amid protest. Video shows. New York Post is a bunch of heinous right-wing hacks, charlatans, propagandists. They're basically fucking neo-Nazi style newspaper at this point. They are literally the Der Stürmer of the American Fourth Reich, for the record. I cannot believe that they said that. Every aspect of their coverage is incorrect. Not only is this not police, but ICE, but also the man was not brandishing a gun. That's not correct at all. At no point is the man that was shot and killed brandishing a fucking weapon. Okay? There's also a third angle that I'm going to be covering as well, which is like which features all the things that led up to the shooting. But basically, I mean, there is no defense of what they're doing. At 55, you can see they find and throw the gun. He actually gets up and they keep shooting. Yeah, I haven't been able to get into exact details yet. This is my first time seeing the second angle, but
oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! The fuck did you just do? The fuck did you just?
At that point, there's one agent that goes. At that point, there's one agent that walks up and starts administering CPR. But unfortunately, the victim passed away. The Department of Homeland Security's statement in the immediate aftermath of the incident at 9:30 a.m. Minneapolis time I believe, right? Or no, not 9:30 a.m. Minneapolis time. I think my computer is a fucking California time. So, well, it doesn't matter. Anyway, they at 9:05 a.m. CT, as DHS law enforcement officers are conducting a target operation in Minneapolis against illegal alien wanted for violent assault, an individual approached U.S. Border Patrol officers with 9mm semi-automatic handguns seen here. The officers attempted to disarm the suspect, but the armed suspect violently resisted. More details on the armed struggle are forthcoming. Fearing for his life and the lives and safety of fellow officers, an agent fired defensive shots. Medics on scene immediately delivered medical aid to the subject and was pronounced dead at the scene. Now, I don't know if this gun is the actual gun that they took off of him. I don't know why they would also lie and act as though, there's a different gun involved here. I know some people are saying that it's a lie. This is not the real gun. It's so insane that obviously it's virtually impossible to trust law enforcement at this point, especially federal law enforcement at this point. It's just like there's no... Like, I'm sorry, it's virtually impossible for me to fucking trust federal law enforcement, specifically ICE, specifically the Department of Homeland Security, because they just lie so maliciously and so frequently. And they lie about things that we can see, that we can actually observe with our own two eyes. It's absolutely insane. And of course, this is a complete collapse. This is a complete collapse of the social fabric that holds society together once again, because when you have these people that are supposed to be defending us, these people that are supposed to be protecting us in theory, behave so belligerently, behave so violently, and then all of the mechanisms of justice that are supposed to do the right thing and prosecute the agent, the rogue agent that they under different circumstances would treat as though this rogue element is simply a bad apple, are not even doing that any longer. They're actually straight up fucking saying that this was lawful, that this was good, that the victim was a terrorist, just like they did with Renee Good. Okay? I have my suspicions that there will still be right-wingers that defend this, but it's completely indefensible. Just so we're clear, this was the victim's position when the first shot was fired, on his knees, shirt pulled up over his arms, surrounded by 7 ICE agents. And yesterday I was talking to some of the activists on the ground, and we were trying to figure out what we were going to do, right? We were trying to figure out what kind of action I could, like what kind of direct action and mobilization I could potentially film and live stream. And one of the things that they were stressing to me was like, listen, we will try to keep you as safe as possible, but just understand that if you have a camera and you're out there, even if you have a press badge, even if you have a press jacket, they're gonna come after you and they're gonna try to break your camera, and they will tear gas you directly. They will pepper spray you directly in your face. And just, this is like how regular people of Minneapolis approach this situation, where they're just like, these are rogue elements of the state that are engaging in a violent, militant occupation of their fucking neighborhoods. Okay? And as we've seen over and over again, there's nothing stopping them from assassinating people in cold blood, especially as the administration has shown time and time again their interest in defending these people, and saying, no, they were actually in the right. They were totally in the right, even though very clearly they're in the wrong over and over again. And there is a decent percentage of people in this country, at least 20% of the people in this country, that will still defend this kind of altercation, defend this kind of incident, defend this kind of lawlessness. Okay, it's incredible to me. I mean, there are people in this chat right now that are coming in to make statements about how this person also deserved it. The body is barely the body hasn't even been laid to rest, and there are still people that are trying to find a way to make this seem normal. Hasan, you are on the wrong side. Both sides aren't great, but you and your followers are on the wrong side, this guy says. Both sides aren't great, but you and your followers are on the wrong side. Brother, if a state can lawlessly execute American citizens in fucking broad daylight and you consider that to be right, I don't want to be right, okay? You and I have a very different value system. You and I have a very, very different value system. You and I might be different organisms at this point. If you still look at a situation like this and say, nah, it's fucking totally worthwhile. This is totally worthy. Are you kidding me? You are not even a human being. You are barely sentient. You might be fucking cattle. And yeah, here it is on Instagram. Minneapolis journalist and anchor Jana Shortle of Care 11, clearly wearing press credentials, says she was pepper sprayed and punched in the eye by federal agents while trying to capture the aftermath of today's fatal shooting. So they're going after every single person. They are going after everyone with an agenda. Basically, they're behaving like a bunch of. They are behaving like a rogue agency. Well, not a rogue agency, but. They're basically behaving like a rogue agency, but a rogue agency that's behaving or behaving violently and belligerently at the behest of the state. So the state is actually deploying this belligerent agency to go kill people. It's crazy. This is an American city. This is a beautiful American city, Minneapolis, Minnesota, that is basically like a fucking war zone right now because the American government has decided to deploy. The American government has basically decided to deploy a federal agency to go and fucking hunt people and kill them. That's where we're at right now. And if you can't wake the fuck up to that reality, if you think that internet drama or your favorite content creator did this, I don't really like this person, I don't really like that person. If you can't unite on this issue, I don't know what to tell you. You're not going to make it. Okay? You're not going to fucking make it. How many more people need to suffer until people fucking come to that recognition that this is completely unsustainable? Like, what the fuck are we doing? Anyway, I'm continuing with the Department of Homeland Security statement now. Fearing for his life and the lives and safety of officers, an agent fired defensive shots. Medics on scene immediately delivered medical aid. The suspect also had 2 magazines and no ID. This looks like a situation where an individual wanted to do maximum damage and massacre law enforcement. That's fucking bullshit. If he wanted to do that, he would have actually came out brandishing and started shooting at people. Okay? An American citizen does not need to fucking walk around with identification. An American citizen does not need to tell members of ICE or show members of ICE his fucking papers. ICE has no jurisdiction over American citizens. Customs and Border Patrol has jurisdiction over American citizens only at the point of entry into the nation state. Okay? This is fucking insane. And so much of this conversation is driven by lies. And I cannot comprehend why people do not address these lies. Number one, ICE's duties are not to actually apprehend criminals, okay? ICE's job is to deal with paperwork violators. That is ICE's job, to deal with people who are engaging in a civil offense. Whether they're cognizant of it or not, doesn't matter. They do not actually apprehend criminals, okay? They don't. The only criminals that they actually get their hands on are criminals that are charged and convicted after local law enforcement or federal law enforcement finds them guilty of wrongdoing or arrest them under the suspicion that they've done something wrong. Then they go through the courts and they go to the prisons after after justice has been served, and only then does ICE actually apprehend them. And they routinely will use those sometimes violent criminals who are undocumented as a reason, as an example of who they're actually stopping. Okay? This is bullshit. These are people who are already serving out their sentences. Okay? ICE does not stop any real criminals. So when you see the percentages when they go, 80% of people that ICE deported this year actually did not have a criminal background at all, that's 100% of the people that they apprehend from the streets, from their workplaces, from right after their court hearings. Okay? The other 20% that have a criminal background are nabbed from prisons. Do you understand? ICE only grabs criminal migrants from prisons, okay? ICE is not a regular law enforcement agency. And it's so crazy to me that people do not know this. This is a fundamental truth that so many people are oblivious to. And I think it's the reason why so many people that have this conversation behave the way that they do, because in their minds, they're like, well, you know, these are rugged criminals. Look, they fucking grabbed the rapist off the street. It's like, no, they went to a fucking prison after an undocumented migrant had done a rape and had been caught by the police, investigated, charged, convicted in a court of law, and was serving out their prison sentence. And then ICE went in, grabbed him from the prison to deport him, just so they can make a show of force, just so they can claim that every single undocumented migrant is a rapist criminal. Okay? That's fact number one. Fact number two. Undocumented migrants are responsible for a far lower share of crime per capita than documented U.S. citizens are. Far lower, especially if you tie in documented migrants on top of that. The numbers are negligible. They're utterly irrelevant at that point. It's like 29 murders or 29 violent crimes per year, something along those lines. It's like ridiculous, okay? It's all propaganda. Okay, Bovine Bovino is speaking now, so I'll just go there and I'll see what he is actually saying. Is this
no different?
We'll
At
tune into
9:05 a.m. Central Standard Time, as DHS
Scumbag.
law enforcement officers were conducting a targeted operation in Minneapolis against an illegal alien, Jose Huerta Chuma. You can see this illegal alien on the screen to my left and right. That is Jose Huerta Chuma, whose criminal history includes domestic assault to intentionally inflict bodily harm, disorderly conduct, and driving without a valid license.
Yeah, the reason driving without a valid license. Wow. The reason why they're hamming this up, by the way, is to say this was like another lawful incident that was obstructed by these people who deserve to be shot and
The agents
killed.
attempted to disarm the individual, but he violently resisted. Fearing for
Bullshit.
his life and the lives and safety of fellow officers.
Bullshit. This is ass covering,
Border Patrol
legal
agent
ass
fired
covering.
defensive shots. Medics on the scene immediately delivered medical aid to the subject, but the subject was pronounced dead at the scene. The suspect also had 2 loaded magazines and no accessible ID. This looks like a situation where an individual wanted to do maximum damage and massacre law enforcement. Then, about 200 rioters arrived at the scene and began to obstruct and assault law enforcement. Crowd control measures have been deployed for the safety of the public and law enforcement. This situation is evolving and more information is forthcoming. The officer was highly trained and had been serving as a Border Patrol agent for 8 years. The officer has extensive training as a range safety officer and...
Yeah, highly trained officer is right.
As mentioned,
Trained to fucking
this is
murder.
only the latest
Okay?
attack
A lot of people talk, myself included, talk about like the 47-day training that these unlawful scumbags get. Okay, Jonathan Ross was highly trained to do a murder. This ICE pig was highly trained, and he still executed someone in cold blood. My point is, highly trained doesn't actually mean anything in this situation because ICE needs to be abolished as a fucking agency.
We will not allow
Okay.
violence against our law enforcement officers, and we need state and local help. State and local law enforcement to help us coordinate to get violent criminals off the streets. Mayor Fry and Chief O'Hare just a few minutes ago did the opposite of that by omitting the fact that the suspect had a gun and magazines full of ammunition. In what looks like a situation, again, where an individual wanted to do maximum damage and massacre law enforcement. I want to reiterate what President Donald Trump Secretary Kristi Noem, myself, Director Marcos Charles, and so many others have said time and again, if you obstruct a law enforcement officer or assault a law enforcement officer, you are in violation of the law and will be arrested. Our law enforcement officers take an oath to protect the public. We go to work every day to protect our friends, our neighbors, and our fellow citizens.
Bullshit.
The fact of the matter is that
No
the
one
law
fucking believes this,
does
man.
not
No one
enforce
believes this.
itself.
Your fucking Nazis
men and women
literally ended
who are
up
willing to
shooting
risk
and
their
killing
lives.
yet another American citizen for doing the brave thing, doing the right thing, trying to de-escalate. Get the
Who love
fuck
this
out of
country
here,
and-
man. Get the fuck out of here. And the reality of the matter is, this is the purpose of ICE. This is now, especially now, the purpose of ICE. In the initial stages when ICE was developed as an unlawful agency under the Department of Homeland Security, 23 fucking years ago, we had INS, which would do the job of ICE, which was specifically to cover paperwork-related civil offenses, okay? They were not as militarized as they are now. They did not have the same, like, unlawful jurisdiction, expansive jurisdiction as they do now currently, okay? Their jobs was to just deliver paperwork, okay? That's what they did. You had Border Patrol, that was a separate agency, and you had Customs, that was a separate agency. The Patriot Act and the terror fears sparked after 9/11 caused these agencies, or gave enough power to all of these agencies under the newly formed Department of Homeland Security, okay? There is utility and use for Border Patrol. There is utility and use for Customs, okay? There's even utility and use for INS. But under this new definition, 23 years ago, when the Department of Homeland Security was created, it was specifically designed to inevitably get to the point that it has gotten to here. A mass surveillance apparatus that can be used unilaterally by a fucking psychopathic tyrant like Donald Trump. His own personal army of racist monsters who will not shy away, as a matter of fact, who will entertain the use of force like this over and over and over again. It's over. It's done. Some might say, how do we get here? And the reason why I explain all this stuff is so you understand. Rewind, please. What are you going to hear from fucking Bovine Bovino, man? Shut the fuck up. Rewind for what reason? There's nothing. Here, I'll rewind for you, okay? We can hear his final statements here. I'll rewind for you so you can hear him talk shit one more time, okay?
And so this is the
to show support for all
Here.
federal law enforcement who have been under constant attack in Minneapolis for weeks now. This morning was no different. At 9:05 a.m. Central Standard Time, as DHS law enforcement officers were conducting a targeted operation in Minneapolis against an illegal alien, Jose Huerta Chuma. You can see this illegal alien on the screen to my left and right. That is Jose Huerta Chuma, whose criminal history includes domestic assault to intentionally inflict bodily harm, disorderly conduct, and driving without a valid license. Years, the officer has extended state and local law enforcement criminals in damage and massacre law enforcement. I want to reiterate what President Donald Trump, Secretary Kristi Noem, myself, Director Marcos Charles, and so many others have said time and again. If you obstruct a law enforcement officer or assault a law enforcement officer, you are in violation of the law and will be arrested.
Yeah, new angle shows both of his hands were on the ground at the moment of his shooting, it seems. There's another angle from across the street, not near the donut shop, but on the other side. There are so many different angles that are coming out right now as we speak, and all of those angles show the exact same thing that the first angle also showed, which is not dissimilar to what happened with Renee Good, that this was a totally inappropriate use of force and broad daylight execution of another American citizen. Okay? Hold on. I'm gonna look through the video real quick. Oh, this one is. Hold on. 1 second. I gotta get to the door. Heated gloves. Heated socks. Another balaclava, and outerwear. And these are rechargeable. I don't know exactly how they work, but victim identified. Yeah, I'm going to get to that in a second. So right here, you can see the victim on the ground. Both of his hands are on the ground. And I think that's at 38 is the first shot being fired. Oh, no, at 40 is the first shot being fired. So moments before the first shot is fired, even in the commotion, you can see that like right before, he's completely on the ground being subdued here. I don't think it's... I mean, I don't know what to say here. Like, I don't know what you can even say. Okay. The victim has been identified. A bystander video shows several agents wrestling with a man on a city sidewalk moments before the shooting. Police Chief Brian O'Hare issued a plea for calm as protesters gather around the city. They keep repeating that over and over again as though that's the most consequential aspect of this story. But federal agents from Department of Homeland Security, ICE, fatally shot a man this morning in South Minneapolis, setting off confrontation between protesters and agents at the scene. It was the second fatal shooting involving federal agents who have swarmed Minnesota as a part of a massive immigration enforcement operation. So far, we've looked at every single one of these angles. For the record, I know that you're coming in. Are you in Minnesota, or am I dumb? No, I am. I am in Minnesota. I was in Minnesota for the day of action that took place yesterday. A single day general strike that took place yesterday, with more than 50,000 demonstrators protesting peacefully in the streets in a major show of force in minus the 20-degree temperatures. This was the second fatal shooting, but the third shooting overall, because there was a Venezuelan that was also shot in the leg, if you recall, a couple days after Renee Good was shot, or I think the night after Renee Good was shot. But this is the second fatal shooting involving federal agents who have swarmed Minnesota as a part of a massive immigration enforcement operation. The Department of Homeland Security said the man was armed with a gun and 2 magazines of ammunition and circulated a photo of the weapon. DHS agents said that they fired in self-defense. This is bullshit, as we have seen. The video contradicts this statement. 2 people familiar with the incident told the Minnesota Star Tribune that the man was Alex Jeffrey Pretti. He was 37 years old. The 2 people spoke on the condition of anonymity because they were not authorized to disclose details of the incident. So we now have the name of the victim, Alex Jeffrey Pretti, and his age. He was a 37-year-old American citizen. We still don't have as much evidence beyond what the Department of Homeland Security has released about whether or not this was his gun that was taken off of him. What we can kind of see from all the different angles of the footage that's out there is that there is the gun that they're claiming was his gun, the victim's gun, can be seen in this moment. Gremlo was able to zoom in and show it and identify it right here. You'll see this is the ICE agent that pulls out, that reaches over the victim's body and seemingly pulls something out. Now, we don't know if it's his own personal gun. We don't know if this is the victim's gun. I've seen the Pink Lady's video, and no, none of the videos actually. None of the videos right now give us a clear picture of what took place in the commotion, aside from the fact that it was definitely a state-sanctioned, unlawful murder of yet another American citizen that was piled on when he was, as a legal observer, trying to de-escalate and trying to protect his neighbors. That is the only thing that we can see, okay? Here is how our fucking psychopathic president replied to the situation where another American was assassinated by his thugs. This is the gunman's gun, loaded with 2 additional full magazines and ready to go. What is that all about? Where are the local police? Why weren't they allowed to protect ICE officers? The mayor and the governor called them off. It is stated that many of these police were not allowed to do their job, that ICE had to protect themselves. Not an easy thing to do. Why does Ilhan Omar have $34 million in her account? What the fuck does that have to do with anything? Ilhan Omar married someone who is wealthy. That's it. What does Ilhan Omar have to do with this? What does Ilhan Omar's like husband have to do with this at all? You understand what's going on here, right? It's always like Somalis. What the fuck is Ilhan Omar have to do with this? Oh, Ilhan Omar married someone who's wealthy. I guess you can kill American citizens now. My mistake, Mr. President. I didn't realize that Ilhan Omar had actually married a wealthy person. Obviously, start fucking murdering American citizens then with your goddamn Hitler brigade. That's totally fine, okay? Meanwhile, you have made 3 or even more than that. I think it's like it's definitely more than $1 billion since you were fucking inaugurated with your cryptocurrency schemes and shit like that. But hey, that's fine because you're obviously worth it, Mr. President. I love you. I will give you more money for your cryptocurrency schemes, please. Like, what the fuck does this have to do with anything? Oh, God. The dumbest mouth breathers of all time will look at that and go, hell yeah, that's right. And also calling the victim a gunman is insane. A gunman. The only gunman on scene is the ICE agent that shot and killed this law-abiding American citizen. I know there's a video. We watched the video of the woman in the pink coat. Please stop. Not only that, but we've also seen all the other angles as well. I've been live for 1 hour and 10 minutes. Trust me, we watched every angle so far. Why does Ilhan Omar have $34 million? Where are the tens of billions of dollars that have been stolen from the once greatest state of Minnesota? We are there because of massive monetary fraud with billions of dollars missing and illegal criminals that were allowed to infiltrate the state. Okay, I'm going to repeat something one more time. Any kind of fucking crime that's taking place, especially financial crimes that are taking place in the state of Minnesota, in Minneapolis, are not dealt with by ICE. ICE does not deal with fraud, okay? Oh my God. I'm going to reiterate this over and over again because a lot of fucking people don't understand. ICE does not do investigations into financial fraud. ICE's job is apprehending at times people who are in violation of paperwork, not financial fraud style paperwork and documentation, immigration civil offenses, okay? Immigration civil offenses. That is the sole purpose of ICE. Okay. As a matter of fact, one of the federal prosecutors that actually investigated the previous charity fraud, that is the inception point for all of this chaos, or at least was the reason why Trump was justifying his use of force, seeking this rogue agency on American citizens, was carried out by a federal prosecutor who actually recently resigned. You might be wondering why he resigned. He resigned alongside 6 other federal prosecutors because the Department of Justice told those federal prosecutors to not investigate or prosecute Jonathan Ross for killing Renee Good, Jonathan Ross, the ICE agent that killed Renee Good, but instead to prosecute and investigate and find any incriminating evidence on Rebecca Ross, or not Rebecca Ross, Rebecca Good, Renee Ross's partner. Do you understand what I'm saying? The federal government protected its assassin and then turned around and tried to find anything to put on the victim's partner. Okay? Renee Good's partner, I believe her name is Rebecca. Did I say it wrong? I'm sorry. Renee Good's widow. That's who the federal government was going after. That's who the federal government wanted these federal prosecutors to investigate, which led to 6 federal prosecutors resigning, publicly resigning, because they were like, you're out of your fucking mind. Those fraudsters who stole the money are going to jail where they belong. This is no different than a really big bank robbery. Much of what you're witnessing is a cover-up for this theft and fraud. The mayor and the governor are inciting insurrection with their pompous, dangerous, and arrogant rhetoric. Oh, yeah, I wish. I wish they were. They're not doing shit, okay? They're not doing shit. Instead, these sanctimonious political fools should be looking for the billions of dollars that have been stolen from the people of Minnesota and the United States of America. Let our ICE patriots do their job. 12,000 illegal alien criminals, many of them violent, have been arrested and taken out of Minnesota. If they were still there, you would see something far worse you were witnessing than today. Every single thing that he mentioned is wrong. As I've repeatedly explained to you, the only criminals with an actual fucking criminal record, like a serious offense, that have been apprehended by ICE have been taken out of the Department of Corrections in the state of Minnesota. Okay? The Department of Corrections has a mandate to abide by the federal agencies when they see fit. If they want to extract and deport someone who has done like a heinous crime or any crime really, and they're serving out their sentence, they go there and they take those guys out to pad the fucking numbers. Okay? They pad the numbers. 100% of day-to-day apprehensions that ICE engages in when they're doing these EROs, okay? 100% of those apprehensions, pretty much 100% of those apprehensions are either people with no criminal records whatsoever or people with minor infractions in the past that are free to roam around in the streets, okay? The only people that they actually get that have been convicted of doing a crime, specifically the heinous crimes that the Trump administration calls the worst of the worst, they're not roaming the streets freely. There has never been a moment on U.S. soil where someone does a fucking heinous crime as an undocumented migrant, and then the court turns around and says, the courts turn around and say, hey, are you an undocumented migrant that committed a heinous crime? Sorry, we have to let you go.
You know,
that's
listening
not
to Maxie and some other folks, it just seems like a much different vibe of the.
We're moving to Tim Walz's statements now. Governor Tim Walz is releasing a statement.
Riots, just in terms of, you know, not only the temperature of the people, but the actual temperature outside.
Governor Walz is going to update the public about the deadly Border Patrol shooting.
There, right, for anyone to go ahead and destroy any of these things. I'd imagine that's when we'd see law enforcement and maybe even the Guard again, if we saw.
Among other things, it's a cover-up for the billions of dollars that have been stolen from the once again great state. I think he's utilizing the term cover-up for the record
in this instance
to actually change the cover-up narrative. I think these guys are very dumb, but they know how to manipulate their public. They know how to manipulate their fucking fans. And I suspect that the usage of the term cover up here is deliberate. I suspect that the usage of the term cover up here is specifically because a lot of people say this is a cover up for the Epstein stuff. So Donald Trump is trying to do his classic algorithm change here by claiming this is a cover up. They're using the word cover up as a way to change the algorithm around cover up for Epstein. Okay? Tim Walz has started speaking.
I've seen the videos from several angles, and it's sickening. But I have a strong statement here for our federal government. Minnesota's justice system will have the last word on this. It must have the last word. As I told the White House in no uncertain terms this morning, the federal government cannot be trusted to lead this investigation. The state will handle it, period. Let me say something else, and this is critically important. All of us understand what happened this morning and the tragedy of it, and my deepest sympathies to the family of a 37-year-old Minnesota resident, a lawful firearm concealed permit carrier, something that I've been lectured to by Republicans for decades, that is not only your right, it's your duty.
Yeah.
We know that the potential to further inflame tensions is high. And to Minnesotans, there's a difference.
Dude, come on. Stop trying to tell the public to fucking calm down. They're gonna rebel against you too. You don't see the moment. You're not meeting the moment, Tim.
Meeting violence with violence. Minnesota and our local
Oh my
law
God, they
enforcement,
spend
as
so
you
much
have
time
seen,
on the fucking
have done
reaction.
everything possible to de-escalate. Local media has reported extensively on the cooperation to de-escalate this situation. Donald Trump, I call on you once again, remove this force from Minnesota. They are sowing chaos and violence. We've seen deadly violence from federal agents again and again and again. But in contrast to that, on these frozen streets, what you witnessed yesterday was the best of Minnesotans, peacefully exercising their First Amendment rights. And I attended in the church basement hundreds of Minnesotans from all faith packing care packages for families that have been ripped apart. Despite the horrific acts by this federal government, Minnesotans are standing up for the rule of law. They're protesting loudly and urgently, but peacefully. It must stay that way, Minnesota. Minnesotans are witnessing, and we're creating a log of evidence for the future prosecution of ICE agents and officials responsible for this. They're helping their neighbors. They're walking their kids to school. They're feeding families. I salute their courage and their restraint, and I call on all Americans to see the decency that this state is exhibiting and the horrific cruelty, unprofessional, absolute abomination that is passing for what these ICE agents are doing on our streets. They think they can provoke us into abandoning our values. Well, they're dead wrong. We'll keep the peace, we'll secure the justice with our neighbors, and we'll see this occupation ends. Minnesotans and Minnesota law enforcement that continuously is being denigrated by this administration will continue to be the adults in the room, the professionals in the room, the decent human beings in the room that will keep the peace. With this, I'd like to turn it over to Department of Public Safety Commissioner Bob Jacobson to update you on the situation as we know it.
No shot. DHS is investigating it? Come on, dude. Come the fuck on.
Thank you, Governor. I'm Bob Jacobson,
No.
Commissioner of Public Safety for the Department
Local law
of
enforcement needs to
Public
start
Safety, and
arresting
again,
these
it's my
people.
honor to serve
You
in
need
that
to start
position.
doing crazy shit. You need to get the fucking National Guard and the
Man was
local
shot
law
and
enforcement
killed this morning
with the
in
National Guard's
Minneapolis.
backing to go and apprehend these fucking criminals,
I want
dude.
to pause and remember what cannot
No
get
shot.
lost in this
You need
moment.
to detain these guys.
Man died. His family and friends are feeling unimaginable heartbreak and trauma. And I know Minnesotans and I know our community will rally around this man's family and friends to support him. I also understand clearly that people are upset. They're scared, they're confused. And I want to assure you that this state's public safety officials and our local law enforcement partners are doing everything in our power to get answers, to help return a sense of normalcy back to our communities.
I don't think these guys understand. This is something I stressed to Keith
You have
Ellison
the right to
yesterday.
demonstrate peacefully.
They
We
are
recognize that
they are
demonstrations are often driven by
they are losing they're losing the public's confidence in them. And when they lose the public's confidence in them and the public starts thinking, okay, well, if I see an ICE agent, they're going to shoot and kill me. They're going to take matters of self-defense in their own hands. You don't want that happening. Okay. You don't want that happening at all. You guys need to take action. You need to take action right now. You need to detain people. You need to start arresting the ICE agents. You have to start arresting the ICE agents before this gets further out of hand. There is a reason for law and order in this country and in every country, okay? Law and order plays a formative role in the fabric that holds society together, okay? Once that goes away, it's pure anarchy, it's pure chaos. You cannot be this scaredy cat in this moment, okay? You have to protect your constituents. You have to protect your citizens. You have to protect your neighbors. If you don't do your fucking job, and if the local law enforcement is actually too busy gassing the people that are protesting rather than actually helping them, rather than actually apprehending the ICE agents that are killing their neighbors, it's over. It's going to be fucking over. I keep warning. No one is listening.
Well, I spoke twice this morning shortly after I received the call of this shooting. I spoke with the President's Chief of Staff, and first request was to get her people out of there, to get these federal agents out of there. They were going to cause more chaos. And second call is, with no uncertain terms, that we will investigate this. We will not be stonewalled. What we've already seen, and you saw it this morning, before any investigation is done, you have the most powerful people in the federal government spinning stories and putting up pictures, and unrelated people who we don't know anything about, and a picture of a firearm to try and spin a narrative. And I ask Americans, this will end when enough Americans say this will end. Do I have any confidence Donald Trump will do the right thing? No, I don't have a lot of confidence.
Then what the fuck are you going to do, you pussy?
I
do
have
something.
A lot of confidence.
Do something. Stop fucking having confidence in Minnesotans. Minnesota nice. God damn it, Tim Walz, such a fucking cowardly cuck.
After all the reporting that's been done, after everything that's been said under the pretense that they are here about immigration reform, and quit referring to these people as law enforcement. They are not law enforcement. We have law enforcement who do an incredible job. And to listen to Greg Bovino denigrate the work of our people who are out there cleaning up their mess, no, I don't have a lot of confidence that he himself will do it. But here's what I do have confidence in. There's a whole lot of Republicans, for whatever reason, cannot find their spine. But they might find the ability to know that they're not going to win another election as long as they live, unless they stand up for what's right and stand up for the rule of law and stand up for human decency, and that's the moment.
So then, just a follow-up, because then if that is not the case, what are the people of Minnesota supposed to do who are in the middle right now? Because if they do Stonewall and you're trying to investigate, is that forcing?
Yeah, no, it's a good question. And look, I speaking to the people of Minnesota right now, I hear that scream from you, and I'll continue to plead and ask you for peace. And I know the answer is, you ask us for peace and we give it, and we get shot in the face on the streets coming out of a donut shop. We cannot give them what they want. I don't know how to say this in so many terms, to watch the madness that we've witnessed over this last week coming out of the White House and what it's doing here.
Dog,
my confidence is,
they haven't been.
Minnesotans,
they haven't been.
Said,
the protests have been incredibly lawful up until this moment. This is the peak of civil disobedience. Organized, okay? Show of force, peaceful. They're doing all of that. It's not working. You have to literally get the law enforcement on the side of the population. If you don't get law enforcement agencies, local law enforcement agencies, and state law enforcement agencies to work alongside the National Guard deployment to literally start apprehending ICE agents, people are going to go, you're not defending us. We've been doing the peaceful thing, and they're shooting us in the fucking face. They're shooting us in the fucking face over and over again. What message do you give to the people? What message do you give to the fucking Minnesotans that voted for you and didn't even vote for you but are still frustrated all the same? You tell them you're on your own, okay? It's chaos from that point on. If you want to ensure stability as a local administrator, as a state administrator, you have to start doing real law and fucking order. This message that they keep presenting to their fucking neighbors, to their voters, to Minnesotans is, you're on your own. You're on your own. Just be peaceful. You're on your own. Just keep it cool. We're going to fix it. but no fixing is coming.
The agents or public safety, state patrol, or Minneapolis on the ground at that crime scene.
Is that an instruction by the federal government, or did you pull your agents out?
What I will tell you, and not to get further, but just the scene, leaving that to Minnesota State Patrol, Minneapolis. We did not have enough resources to be able to hold that ground safely, and we had to leave that scene because of the number of people that were available and the safety of those in the public and the safety of our teams. We were able to get there, but at that time we were not able to hold that scene to do a crime scene investigation. I can't talk any more about those details.
Who is handling the investigation, if not either DHS nor state officials right now?
We'll have more on that, but the BCA is engaged and involved, and we are working at the request of the Minneapolis Police Department on this, on the scene and in this investigation. So we are there, we're available. We want to make sure that we continue to work on this and engage with our
Zero chance any
federal
cop is going to break the thin blue line and arrest Fez for doing what they're doing?
We
No.
don't have anything more to share
No.
about the crime scene. Again,
No.
we're not able
It don't
to-
matter.
We want to,
It doesn't
make sure
fucking
people
matter.
safe, but federal law
First of all,
enforcement left the
there
scene.
are still plenty of fucking cops that will follow the orders that are given to them. That's number one. Number two, I don't think you understand. Cops are being fucking detained by ICE. There are black and brown police officers that are being detained. Hennepin County Sheriff's Office is fucking complaining that their black off-duty cops are getting detained by ICE. Okay? You're wrong. There's a precedent for this. There's a legal precedent for this. As Keith Olsen was explaining, there was a legal precedent for this before the Constitution was written, and certainly a legal precedent for this after the Constitution was written. What I am saying is, what I'm demanding from our agents is a little bit of gamesmanship, a little bit of legal gamesmanship, okay? I'm expecting them to, at the very least, behave like right-wingers do. Right-wingers, when there is, under the Biden administration, would literally not shy away from doing crazy things, breaking the actual fucking law. Breaking the actual law. Like, Governor Greg Abbott in Texas and Ron DeSantis literally trafficked undocumented migrants across borders. That was illegal, and the administration didn't do fucking dick about it, okay? Just as an effort to make a statement, as an effort to universalize the problem, or to like deliberately make an issue out of undocumented migrants by trafficking them to states without giving them prior notice, prior clearance. Anyway, let's listen to the National Guard here.
To respond in a much rapid manner than if they were not mobilized. So we have a request from the Hennepin County Sheriff to support them, and that is to help them free up additional resources for other work that they need to do. And we have started coordinating with them this morning on that, and that first area of support will be assisting them with their requirement to provide security to the Whipple building. So we'll be helping them there. And then we are in parallel planning with other organizations within the state of Minnesota, to include the State Patrol, the Minnesota DNR, and other local agencies to render assistance if requested.
Can you say how many are now deployed?
I would say that the number that we have is adequate for the requests that we have right now, and I will also tell you that we are bringing more resources that will be able to respond in a timely manner that are not fully mobilized yet, but we are mobilizing more soldiers as we talk at this time. I'd like not to get into specific numbers for an operational security standpoint, but right now we have all the resources to meet the requests that we have.
I would note on this one, too, that we'll be billing the federal government for the cost of the National Guard because they are incurring the costs that are falling on us by their reckless actions. Yes, sir.
You alluded to this earlier, but are you rejecting the narrative that has been presented by federal officials that this man, this 37-year-old citizen of Minneapolis, posed a threat to these agents? And are you rejecting the idea that he played some role with the weapon in leading to
I'm rejecting the rush to judgment within 15 minutes of this, which they did last time. That's why you need to have a fair investigation. And that's why a video can show one thing, but what happened beforehand. But they already will slander this individual. They've already made this the case. And I will just say, you will all start to see it, and some of you probably have. There's multiple angles of this. And I'll go back to what we talked about before. They're telling you not to trust your eyes and ears, not to trust the facts that you're seeing in front of them. And at some point in time, you're reporting, and I think the reporting this week has been spectacular across Minnesota, that there's not two sides to every story. But in this situation, what I'm saying is we need to have a fair investigation, understanding what's happening, and held accountable. We continue to hear, and we heard it from the Vice President, that these folks can do whatever they want. They can have full immunity. And what I'm telling you is they will not. There will be justice to Minnesotans. Continue to gather the information. So I won't say where it is, because I think it's irresponsible to make that judgment. But what I see with my eyes and what you're going to see with your eyes makes that pretty hard to believe. And I would imagine as a federal officer, they would have come out and sounded like these professionals sound and say, we need to gather the information, we need to gather all the facts, we need to put them forward, and then we can make some informed decision based on the fact. They've written the narrative already. And the audacity to critique the police chief of Minneapolis after what work that those heroic officers are trying to do, and to be critiqued by this guy, I mean, I don't know, I've said it a lot, but America, as you're listening, enough is enough. Enough is enough of this. End this. End this. And we see them moving to Maine. If you're in Boston, you're in Chicago, you're in Philly, you're in Miami, it doesn't matter. We can't live like this. Our children are in trauma. A 5-year-old, you saw the picture, the bunny hat and the Spider-Man. Is there not like some narrative to throw around, to parade around in some coat you had made and act like you're a tough guy or whatever? These are people's lives, and we have rule of law. So I'll let the investigation play itself out. We will do our best to find it, but I don't know, you kill a man and then you just leave your law enforcement, you just leave it. Is there a single case in America's history where you just like walk away and say, I guess that just happened and we're not going to clean up our mess? I'm proud of Minnesotans. I'm proud of law enforcement here and our partners, and we'll get to the bottom of it. I think we have time for another one. So, yes, ma'am.
Bring down the witness to Channel 5. ICE commander just said in a press conference within the hour that they're calling on state and local law enforcement to, quote, help coordinate to get violent criminals off. What's your response to that request?
I'm better off to let these guys, the professionals, I have my thoughts.
So the question was,
all hollow,
what are we doing to assist
hollow
federal
words.
law enforcement on getting violent criminals off the street, if I understand the question?
Greg Levino said that in a press conference. He was calling on
Ridiculous.
and local law enforcement. So what is your response to that?
State and local law enforcement are always ready and willing and able to arrest violent offenders. We do not stand down from that, no matter where we get that information from. If there are violent offenders or violent criminals or violent crimes, we will investigate and we'll bring those to justice. If the federal government would like to work with us, to continue to work with us as they have in the past, to locate those violent offenders, we are always open to those discussions and always willing to assist. We do not ignore that. We are ready and able, and we do that. All of you as part of the media hear us arresting violent offenders all the time. We have not stood down. That is our mission. The federal government is not alone in arresting violent offenders. State and local law enforcement does that every day at great risk to their life, at great risk to the community. We do it because we want a safe Minnesota, and the federal government is not the only one to do that.
Ross wrapping up a press conference right now. You can see emotions were running high. He said he hopes that this is the event that people say enough is enough. Gave a lot of information there.
One thing that I want to point out is something that Caroline talked with you earlier this morning and Reg on set about was the BCA being locked out of the Renee Good investigation, and what will this be like this time around? And we heard that the BCA is engaged in an investigation at the request of MPD, but that and this was interesting, that DHS...
Bro. I don't think these motherfuckers understand what's going on, okay? I'm talking to the people out here. I'm seeing it with my own two fucking eyes. I've been at the goddamn demonstrations. These people are straight up oblivious, okay? They are oblivious. They do not understand that they are so fucking out of touch and out of step with where people are at right now. They do not get it. They do not get it at all. This is not heading somewhere good, okay? This is heading somewhere very, very bad. This is a fucking powder keg, and it is slated to explode in the absence of local law enforcement, local courts, state prosecutors, local investigators actually trying to restore law and order. These guys, instructions manual, 5-volt power bank. Stop before using any action heat product. Please read and adhere to all enclosed instructions. Fuck. There's like 8 different warnings up in this bitch. You put a battery bank in your socks, dude. Isn't that crazy? Okay, these have very little juice in them right now. You put the battery bank in the sock, and then you press these buttons when the battery bank is in it, and it lights it up. I can't believe the amount of fucking shit that you need to do to exist out here, man. Fucking Murderapolis.
Wrestle to the ground. There's a struggle on the ground that lasts about 20 seconds. At least half a dozen agents surround him. Again, you hear the gunshots and agents leave. Now, at no point in any of those videos do we see what appears to be a firearm in that man's hand. Instead, he appears to be holding a phone. There are some angles that suggest that something has fallen out of his pockets or is otherwise recovered by agents during all those struggles on the ground. But from the videos that we were reviewing, Frank, we never see a gun in that man's hands.
Video, the guy that gets pushed that's helping the woman, is that the man who's eventually going to be shot? Because if we can, I'll have our director roll that back again. Is that what you're saying?
To the best of our understanding, yes. Now, of course, we don't have anyone with Minneapolis police or DHS confirming that that is the 37-year-old individual who was shot and killed. But based on all of the videos that we were seeing, these different angles, based on the colored jacket he's wearing, the hat that he's wearing, that does appear to be the man holding a cell phone, not a gun.
So I wonder where the weapon comes from, because here we can see he's trying to hold on to the woman. Then the agents separate him from the woman, and they have him on the ground. So we're watching it here for a second, Connor.
Sure, absolutely.
That's what you're seeing right there is 37-year-old registered nurse. 37-year-old registered nurse Alex Pretti. Okay? Who has a license as a law-abiding citizen, who has a concealed carry permit. Okay, and you don't see the gun at all, but what he's doing in that moment is 37-year-old Alex Pretti, the man killed by federal agents today in Minneapolis, appears to have been a registered nurse, an athlete, a son, a brother with ties to Colorado and Wisconsin. Okay? That man died protecting Minnesotans. Protecting Minnesotans from a rogue agency. Protecting Minnesotans from a violent agency that is at the direction of the federal government, assassinating regular people, just Minnesotans in Minneapolis, Minnesota. He died a hero. Fucking insane.
For the better part of 3-4 hours as we were waiting for Commander Bavino to come to the podium there. But you may have heard
He was executed in broad daylight. I realize not a major deal, but it may help people with plans to attend Stay Safe and not risk anything. The NBA game has been canceled. Yes.
Be able to see going down the fence, this barricade that has been somewhat recently put up as there have been more and more clashes with federal agents here over the past few weeks. More and more people are showing up in these sub-zero temperatures.
Thank you so much, Connor. And we are going to go to Mike Max. Now, when we spoke to Mike last, Reg and I spoke to him, he had to run away because of the irritants, he and Nick being affected by them. What's going on there now, Maxie?
Yeah, we've recovered from that. And then we got tear gas twice today, and man, you can feel it. Cleared out a lot of people, but it's different now out here, 26th and Nicollet. It's almost a pep fest right now, unimpeded, because there are no officers out here. So the tension is gone. Adam, come over here quick. Adam, you've been with us throughout, of course, done an excellent job out here. It feels like right now people are turning their attention towards energy and protesting without there's not going to be any more altercations. It's almost like we've all taken a deep breath here for a minute.
Yeah, and you know what, Maxie, I talked to someone a moment ago who said, we're not going anywhere. This is our intersection now, was the message that they were sending. And so you get the sense that people are going to be here. I mean, if you look behind us, you see the barricades set up. People say they're in this for the long haul.
Yeah, and I don't know where you begin to clean it up. They're talking about the National Guard going to the Whipple building, maybe here as well. But at some point in time, somebody's going to have to just come in here and as calmly and quietly as they can, I guess, try to get everything cleaned up.
Come on,
because
man.
Right now we've got barricades.
What do you mean? Someone's got to come in here and fix it. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy that he's just local news, man. Always ops. According to the NBC Tech editor, Alex Pretti, the man reported to have been shot by ICE in Minneapolis, appears to have previously worked with the federal government at the VA. There's a photo of him on the VA website where he's cited as a part of a medical research team. Kind of creepy looking, not gonna lie. Oh my gosh, so he knew better? Dude, these people are less than cattle. These people are less than cattle. Oh my fucking God. Every day I see a new depravity in the heart and mind, in the hearts and minds of fucking American hogs, dude. Every day there is a new thing that they get up to. Every day I see something new. I hear something new. And it blows my fucking mind. Alex, from our time working together while he was in nursing school, later he moved to ICU working as a nurse to support critically ill veterans. He had such a great attitude. We'd chat between patients about trying to get in a mountain bike ride together. Will never happen now. Alex Pretti was a colleague at the VA of Dmitry Drakonja. We hired him to recruit for our trial. He became an ICU nurse. I loved working with him. He was a good, kind person who lived to help, and these fuckers executed him white hot rage. These are some of the best people that we have. These are some of the best Americans that we have. And some of the worst Americans are killing them in the fucking streets. And the worst American of all time, Donald Trump, is actively trying to foment more of this violence.
Here as part of a movement than you do anything else, and I think it will continue for some time, but you're not going to see at least the altercations, the tear gas, or the things that we experienced earlier today out here. That's all behind us, I think, at least for now.
You know, the street being barricaded, is there destruction to property, cars beat up or windows smashed out or anything like that that would require the cops to come in?
Not that I saw. We saw one tire was slashed, and it was not. They thought it was an ICE vehicle. It wasn't. It was someone else's. And then we saw, of course, we brought it to you live on TV. Of course, they smashed a couple of windows when they commandeered a couple of vehicles. I think right now people are speaking, and they're getting a little pep fest going over there in the form of bullhorns and riling the crowd. If you can just take us right over there, you can see some people up on stage. And they're talking to the audience, and they've got a captive audience right now that wants to hear it, that wants to believe in it, and wants to feel it. And so this is all just organic and impromptu, and they want to be here. The people want to be here. They want to be a part of this. And
yes, local news when a person is murdered.
What the message
is,
bro.
Local news when a person is murdered is going to primarily cover, the potential for broken windows. Okay. Not even like active broken windows, like not even a situation where there's like already windows being broken, but like the potential for windows to break. Okay? I need you to understand. Comply or die statements. What is this? If you resist arrest, you will likely be shot. You would think people would know this by now. Go about your day. If you're approached by screaming men who have obscured every identifying aspect, remember what this Tay-Sachs vector says: lay down and die peacefully. Miller weighed in, another fucking neo-Nazi. Stephen Miller just called Alex Pretti a domestic terrorist who wanted to massacre law enforcement. Alex Pretti was a 37-year-old American, legal gun owner, permit to carry, no criminal record. He's dead. He can't speak. So they're writing the story for him. This is what it looks like when the government gets to label you after they kill you. 100%. Hold on. I need to plug this in real quick. Okay. Sorry. I cannot comprehend it, dude. I just, it's fucking 37-year-old. Registered. That worked at the VA. He died. He was killed trying to protect Minnesotans. You're missing the block party? Okay. I'm not, I have to get set up and shit. Okay. The cold suits you? No. It does not. Yeah, there's already people investigating it, obviously, frame by frame. The man with the green jacket walks up to the melee, reaches in, takes the gun from the man on the ground, and then calmly walks away with the gun ICE found. This was before any shots were fired, which means the man was unarmed and murdered in the streets by ICE, as far as we know. Okay? I don't even know if this is like the actual fucking weapon that he had on him, by the way. Because people are saying that this was actually posted on Reddit. Weekly discussion mega thread R538 Reddit. I don't even know what that is. Anyway.
Minister.
Hold on.
Frankie is on the south side. But are you on the north side now, Frankie, or are you on the south side?
South side.
No, we're on the south side. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you, Frankie.
Okay, good. So as you see, we're right now on 27th. You're looking towards Nicollet. We've just had to, honestly, back up more and more as this just...
Yeah, the photo might be new, but the thread might be an old thread or something. So I don't know if they, like... I don't see a reason to believe that, like, they would fucking find a... I don't see a reason to believe that they would find, like, an old photo and post it. I have no reason to believe that. There's a bug in the reverse image search? Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I don't think that they I don't think they found a fucking old photo or whatever, even though they are goofy as fuck.
Happened.
Right, and I think that's exactly what the issue is here. We need some time to get this.
Chatters, we watched the video of the girl in the pink coat. We watched it already. I watched numerous different angles
the
already.
The governor and the mayor and the police chief, who I greatly admire, speaking not only about this incident, but about a series of incidents that have accumulated into the frustration that you're hearing. And it's certainly understandable they'd be reacting the way that they're reacting because they want to protect the people in their own communities. I would hope, and I said this earlier, I was hoping for more transparency on the part of CBP. Bovino said that a man with a firearm approached them, but that doesn't really justify the use of deadly force. And so he basically said that we needed more time to figure that out. But I was hoping that a clearer statement of exactly what the threat was would be forthcoming at the very first press conference, because the city is starting to burn. This is not, you don't have the luxury of waiting days to put this stuff out there. And I'm particularly interested to see the video from that young lady that was behind the melee.
Yeah, looked like in red or
jacket.
something. Yeah, dark pink, kind of walking around.
I'd be searching for her.
So, why wouldn't Greg Bovino say or be more descriptive about whether this 37-year-old waved his weapon, brandished it, pointed it? Instead, he was very careful to just use the word approached an agent. And we've heard from the police chief that he was, a concealed weapon permit carrier. So, and that message had already gotten out before Bovino was in that press conference. So what was not said is very curious as to why he wouldn't be more descriptive.
I totally agree, and I'm hoping it's out of an abundance of caution and wanting to be sure that they have the facts exactly right.
Please address it if Trump, please address it if police show up, Trump will escalate and send the military. Okay, great take, chatter. If police don't show up, then people are inevitably going to take matters in their own fucking hands, and they're going to kill even more people. And when they kill even more Minnesotans, the military is going to be sent in regardless. So either you actually push back by using all mechanisms of law enforcement that you possibly have at your fucking disposal, or you just wait for the military to show up when the inevitable happens. Okay? They can't just keep killing Minnesotans, brother. I don't think you understand this. It's like, it's difficult to comprehend. It is difficult to comprehend what this environment feels like until you're in it, until you are directly facing one of these fucking animals, okay? I'm telling you right now, like even the CNN coverage of it is somewhat disconnected from the reality. I mean, even Tim Walz's statements are disconnected from the reality on the ground. They are talking like there isn't a federal mandated occupation taking place in Minneapolis right now. Okay? There is a federal mandated occupation in the streets of Minneapolis currently that is happening. Okay? That's happening in front of us. It blows my mind that people are talking about, the trash cans that they're putting in front of the fucking area to create blockades or whatever. But like, I don't think you guys understand where this is going. Okay? They are fucking terrorizing the public, man. They are terrorizing the public. As I said here, 37-year-old Alex Pretti was a registered nurse that worked at the VA. He was killed trying to protect Minnesotans. We are letting the worst Americans kill the best Americans. I don't even know if I'll be able to leave tomorrow, like at this point. I don't even know what, everything is up in the air now.
So it's an untenable situation for the governor and the mayor when the federal government isn't cooperating or planning with them.
All right, Commissioner Ed Davis, thank you so much. We're going to take a short break for now as we continue to cover all the developments surrounding.
This won't continue. There's no shot.
I'm just angry. I'm 7 years old.
Yeah.
Angry.
This is earlier in the morning.
Yeah. I mean,
this is from early in the morning. If you want to get a better understanding, right? Like, you think that guy's fucking Antifa? You think that guy's a fucking radical? He might be a radical after today, but he wasn't a radical this morning. Okay.
To a protest before. We heard from a 55-year-old woman from Edina earlier today.
Yeah.
We're hearing from this 7-year-old man. These are people that have gotten to their breaking point in some cases and said, I now need to make my voice heard. I'm no longer going to stay on the sidelines after this now third shooting involving a federal agent here in the Twin Cities.
Yeah, and again, I think it's a cumulative effect. Started December 1st, the shooting 2 weeks ago, another shooting last week, the shooting now breaking the peace of what we were hoping to be a more calm morning on a Saturday, following a big, civil, peaceful protest yesterday with, 15, maybe 18,000 people, and it immediately changes the narrative and the feel of things, and you can sense the rawness in that man's voice when he, we try to guess, are people angry? Are they passionate? He's crying, and he's like, I'm angry, and there's a sense of that, and it's interesting, those people come from Medina to go down there, and it's the exact opposite thing that the governor and even at 11:30 this morning, the police
This
chief
is before
and
this is before they shot him. Clear image shows the firearm removed from the scuffle by an agent prior to the shooting. Yes, this is what is confirmed with what we can see. This is the ICE agent that took the gun off of him, or at least this gun that they're showing as his gun. If that is actually his gun, this is the same gun. Okay. It's a SIG P320, and this is before they shoot him. Okay, this is before they shoot him. Now the problem is the gun that they're using is actually a very common law enforcement weapon that I think was the one that was in recent controversy, right? Because it has like a tendency to accidentally discharge. Is that the same gun? I'm not a big gun guy. I know there's like better gun guys in the chat, but I'm sure there's plenty of people who are more knowledgeable, but this is that one, right? Because I remember there was a gun that would literally fucking discharge, like it has a hair trigger and would just like randomly fucking discharge, and it's one of the more common service weapons that law enforcement uses, but I don't know if it's the exact same model. P320 is the standard ICE issue. Yeah. Most new Leos use this. And given that it has the optics on it too, I suspect that this is the one that they claim that they recovered. It's not this gun, it's a P series SIG. Wait, this isn't it? Now, the reason why I'm saying that for the record is a DHS issued weapon to ICE as well. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because there's like confusion on whether or not it was the gun of another fucking law enforcement agent on scene that they're claiming was his, or if it was actually here. And also, this is. Wait, what the fuck? Chatters linked me holding Hasan accountable, Hasan tracker. What the fuck is this? Primary source DHS manual, page 73. My haters are actually now on our side, it seems. That's a strange account dedicated specifically to I suspect stalking me, but I guess in this circumstance, they're doing Hasan Tracker is a fan. Oh. Okay, never mind. There's a lot of accounts like that are just like psychotic. Oh, never mind. That is probably a fan. Okay, I was mistaken because there's like a bunch of these like psycho. It's a meme account. Never mind. It is a fan. Okay, that makes more sense. Anyway. That makes more sense that they're like under my tweets posting reliable information rather than trying to find a way to fucking turn this into like a fuck Hasan situation. Here's on page 73. Okay. There's other accounts that are actual haters. I believe that fan is a parody of them. Okay, that makes sense. No, because there's like a bunch of accounts that are like that. I'm a Hasan fan. The account is a meme. Yeah, there's a bunch of there's a bunch of there are a bunch of, this is irrelevant to the conversation. I can't believe I'm getting derailed here, but there are a bunch of accounts that are named like this that are stalker accounts that just like try to find anytime anything is going on around the world, like they will use that as an opportunity to be like, this is what Hasan did wrong, and you should yell at him as though I'm like responsible for, you know, October 7 or something, or Russia invading Ukraine. And I mistook this chatter for that style of account. Anyway, I got derailed, but where the fuck is the man? Oh, okay. So this is the Firearms and Use of Force Handbook and the handguns that they have. The following handguns are authorized to use in a configuration specified by OFPT or OFTP. Glock Model 17, 1926, Glock models, and the SIG SARs. Okay, the SIG SAR DHS P320, FC and SC 9mm caliber. The SIG SAR Sawyer P365, P365X, P365XL, also 9mm caliber. The reason why there's a little bit of confusion right now, Sig Sauer, sorry, not Sawyer. Sig Sauer. The reason why there's a little bit of confusion with the gun is because this is like one of those guns that's one, famous for misfiring. The 320, the P320 is like famous for misfiring, accidental discharges, especially when you drop it. And also because it's like very commonly used by law enforcement. So that's the reason why people initially suspected that this might not even be his weapon. I have no reason to believe that they like, dumped a fake weapon on him, especially considering that these guys are still using any and every opportunity to fucking say they deserved it. They would have found a way to say that he deserved execution even if he didn't have a weapon on him anyway. So but regardless, none of that, as far as like all the information that we have so far, none of that justifies the use of force here. They clearly escalated. And not only do they clearly escalate the use of force, but there's some footage there where... Oh, shit. There's some footage here where like agents are searching the scene after they shot they shot him. And one of the ICE agents are searching the victim's body, asks, where's the gun? Yeah, you hear it? Right there, he goes, where's the gun? Where's the gun? I obviously can't show you the footage because unfortunately the victim is right there. But yeah, there's one agent that is doing CPR on the victim, 37-year-old Alex Pretti, and another agent is on top of his body, looking through his holster, and very clearly going, "Where's the gun? Where's the gun?"
There's he called for calm and asked for the situation to be peaceful.
Yeah, National Guard has been released.
Okay. Thank you so much, Caroline Cummings, who was there and saw Governor Walz speak and asked that very important question. They got some very
now the National Guard is released. The question is
about the scene and how people.
The question is, will they release the National Guard on the protesters, or will they utilize the National Guard against ICE alongside local law enforcement? Because National Guard does not have any authorization to make like detainments. They can't operate as like a local law enforcement agency, but they can actually provide cover. Now, this is precisely what Donald Trump wanted the National Guard to do when he federalized them. Provide cover for who? Provide cover for federal agents at the time. Tim Walz could direct the National Guard to offer local law enforcement coverage as local law enforcement goes out and detains the fucking ICE agents. Okay? Yeah, they can assist local police amid growing protests. The problem is, I don't think they're going to utilize the National Guard to actually do the right thing in this circumstance, but instead, they're going to utilize the National Guard against the crowds. Okay? You're wish casting? I'm not wish casting. I'm literally in the process of explaining to you what they could do, what they should do, and what they're not doing. There's a difference between saying this is what they should do, saying this is what they could do, saying this is what they must do, and then telling you that this is what they're not going to do and what they're not doing at all. Okay? At most, they will go to the Whipple building, the federal building where ICE is gathered, the ICE headquarters, and the place where they send all of the people that they detain, and protect the fucking Whipple building. National Guard is going to protect the Whipple building. They already said that much. Local and state police can go gas citizens. They aren't doing shit to ICE.
Are making a determination based on the little bit of evidence that we've seen thus
Bro,
far.
it's civil war.
And this is a snapshot.
Bro, it's civil war. If local cops try to detain ICE, feds will shoot first, and then it's beyond chaos trouble. You are, again, refusing to understand what I'm saying here. If this doesn't happen, what is the expectation? If this doesn't happen, then there will inevitably be a federal deployment. Okay? There will inevitably be a federal deployment. It will just come after citizens take matters into their own hands. Yes, I watched this one, MHUD. I watched this video. It's the clearest one yet. I know. And the shooting, I watched this earlier. This is the best visuals that we have for the altercation moments prior to escalation. And I believe the shots get fired right at the end there. Here, we'll watch it one more time. This doesn't show the altercation prior. There are numerous different camera angles at this point. This is one of the best ones to show you, like, exactly, especially in the moment, like leading up to the shots being fired. Like, ICE agent pushes like random legal observers around. Here is the victim trying to get in front of one of the legal observers that's like pushed into the. Here's the ICE agent pushing them into the snow, to the pile of snow. He gets in between. He says, "Stop." He puts his hand up. In his hand, you can see, by the way, in his hand, you can see he has a phone. Okay, he doesn't have a gun. He just has a phone. This is not a Jonathan Ross style situation. This is the victim. Okay, he has a phone in his hand. He puts his hand up. He gets fucking pepper sprayed or mace directly in the face, okay? And he is trying to, while he's actively getting pepper sprayed, he is still putting his hand and his body between the pepper spray. One hand holds the phone, one hand is up. Observer, okay? Putting his body directly in between. Then they pull him off. Then they slam him into the ground. Wait, what? Is it effing? Are we good? We're good, right? He's also literally trying to crawl away. At one point, they pull him back into the altercation. Yeah. Repeat what you said. There was a visual glitch F. Hold on. We're going to do a delay check right now. Type the number that you see on screen. All right, let's continue. So this is, like I said, moments before Alex Pretti is shot and killed. Everyone typing in the chat gave you 3K more viewers. No, it's because they're reloading because it effed for a second and they thought it was it just tweaked the viewership. It'll go down again. Okay, that's normal. It happens. Like, you can see his face right here. You can see his situation. They're stepping on his head. They're pushing his head down. Okay? He is completely under a fucking pile. He's completely under a pile of some of the fattest Gestapo pigs you've ever seen. Okay? Both of his hands are on the ground. His hands are not reaching for a weapon at all. Both of his hands are fucking on the ground. Okay? Now, take note of the ICE agent, the ICE pig with the gray jacket. His last words were to the woman he was protecting. They were, "Are you okay?" The agent in the gray reaches over the other agents and is seen grabbing something and walking away as the first shot is fired. Okay? So by the time where the first shot is fired, the agent in the gray, the ICE Gestapo agent in the gray, seemingly grabs Alex Pretti's licensed carry arm, his licensed firearm, and walks away as the first shot is fired. Okay? So we know that he is unarmed. I don't know who shoots the first. I don't know what fell on the ground. I think it was either a taser or like the thing that fell on the ground moments prior to him grabbing the gun. I think it might be a flashlight or something. I'm not sure. Or maybe a pepper spray, like a smaller pepper spray. This was almost certainly a negligent discharge leading to a reaction by agents to mag them into a perceived threat. In one of the videos, you can see the agent in the brown top and blue jeans unholster his weapon at about 37 mark of the video. And a few seconds later, he gets pushed from behind by another ICE agent. The push corresponds exactly to the first shot being fired. Which one is it? Oh, you're talking about the one in the green jacket, right? Or no, brown top and blue jeans. I thought it was the one with the green jacket, but it might be. For the record, none of this spells lawful escalation, okay? None of this is self-defense. None of this is a real moment. Even in the most charitable interpretation, you have a bunch of psychotic ICE agents in a moment of frustration and a moment of panic start mag dumping on a person that they have already visually, physically apprehended. You can see that clear as day. There's bad coordination. There's bad communication amongst the ICE agents. And you will see professional trained law enforcement come out in the upcoming days from this point on that will clearly detail that in the most charitable interpretation, and I do not offer the charitable interpretation in this situation, but they will say in the most charitable interpretation that you can physically gather from what you have seen, that this was a moment of panic and chaos, or a bunch of hopped up ICE agents decided to mag dump on a person that they thought had a gun. Maybe they thought that maybe they knew he had a gun as they were like going through his pockets. And then one of the ICE agents didn't see that he had a gun in that moment and assumed that he didn't have, he had pulled out his service weapon, or not service weapon, sorry, his concealed carry weapon. And they just dumped into him, mag dumped into him. Okay. So even in the most like defending the ICE piglets interpretation of events, it is still absolutely indefensible. Yeah, there was no reason for them to approach the guy. There was no reason for them to even be there. But there's certainly no reason for them to approach this person at all. There is no reason to escalate violently. Every step of the way, Alex Pretti did the right thing. He tried to look out for his neighbors, tried to protect his neighbors, and he was shot and killed for that. Okay? If you watch the girl in the pink POV, I know, I watched it. You can see the guy in the green jacket walk over, point his gun at his head, and start shooting him. I know. There was no reason to mace him at all. That's another part of the story as well. There was no reason for them to push one of the legal observers into the fucking pile of snow. which is the reason why Alex Pretti intervened to try to de-escalate, mind you. Okay? Yeah. He comes in with an empty hand, frame by frame. Still an empty hand, as you can see here. Go in, reach for something. You can see this fucking dipshit slamming his head, slamming the victim's head on here while this guy is looking for a gun. And then you can see the gun in his hand from this point on. I know, I watched the drop site footage of the lady in the pink. I know, I watched it. If 4 federal agents cannot disarm or restrain a single 37-year-old nurse without executing them, they failed the baseline competency of law enforcement. I mean, yes. Even the Roach King isn't defending this? Yeah, because he knows which way the fucking winds are blowing, chatter. And also, this is a man. This is not like a, you know, gay, non-binary, like visibly queer feminist woman or whatever. And also, enough is enough. So he knows where the way, which way the winds are blowing. Wrong, he is defending it. He'll pivot. He'll pivot eventually. This is a great opportunity for him to not cover his best friend being outed as a rapist. So, you know, he'll spend a lot of time on this, and he'll try to find a reasonable middle ground here. He'll try to land on a center, on a centrist position. Just wait. Yeah. Which one? Rape tone. Dick tone. One of my number one fucking haters. I thought I would at least like talk about this stuff for a little bit. That stuff for a little bit. Apparently he had a court case. Because I have a legion. I have a legion of fucking psychotic haters that have been farming right-wing audiences that basically pump out like 1 to 2 videos a day. They're all buddies with Asmongold. And they spend every waking moment talking about how I'm the most evil person on the planet. Meanwhile, they themselves have active court cases that have been launched against them by their loved ones, previous partners for sexual assault. Rape Tone is one of those guys. Asmongold's best friend, Rape Tone. Podcast co-host, Rape Tone. A person that Asmongold has defended vociferously, has went through a court case, as far as we know. And you know, I don't, there's an active situation there. I suspect Asmongold will spend very little time talking about that, even though he loves what he considers farming drama. Yeah, he lost his case.
And we don't know how it's going to end.
I will say once again, judge me by my enemies. That's his name? No, we call him Rape Tone, but his name is Tech Tone. He's a sad, pathetic, balding fucking loser.
Still very, very cold. Make no mistake about that. But the crowd here just says they're not going anywhere, and they don't plan on leaving anytime soon.
Adam, we have heard that some local and state law enforcement are sort of backed outside of the perimeter so that they could be called if there was any need for public safety there. Are you able to see that at all, or have you heard that at all, that they're just
not balding, bald
back at this point and allowing this to go on as long as it stays peaceful there?
Derek, one thing to that point, I mean, that's the first I'm hearing of it in the crowd. You can look down 26, you don't see anything there. We were looking, north on Nicollet a moment ago, you don't see anything. That doesn't mean that the situation's not being monitored. last Saturday we were at Minneapolis City Hall where, someone pardoned from what we saw on January 6th came and they said they're going to burn a Quran. And as we were out there last Saturday, the one thing people kept saying was, where is police? But then when there was a conflict, police came really fast. And so all that to say, Derek, is that, you don't see anyone out here right now. That doesn't mean they're not watching or not monitoring the situation, right? In Minneapolis, they have many avenues and many means to just keep an eye on the situation. But I can tell you this, Derek, is that if there were to be law enforcement on the scene, I think you would see an immediate confrontation or back and forth, just because of how amped this crowd is still. And we've seen that happen over the course of the last few weeks where the second law enforcement leaves, things die down as far as those conflicts or clashes. But then, should law enforcement come back in, that can start right back up. And I really do think that there's, just picture for a second, there is 1,000+ people here who are really upset. And, when that
Looks like we're losing Adam's signal there right now. He's there, 26 in Nicollet.
A lot of good points. As we move forward, I want to let you know the BCA plans to hold a press conference at 3 o'clock, and then DHS Secretary Kristi Noem is scheduled to speak at 4 o'clock. So,
how are these people? Did it F again? How are these people so neutral when their neighbors are being killed? Is a great question. And the answer to that great question is, this is their fucking job. This is local media's primary duty, okay? This is how local media usually operates. Midas touches on the ground live.
Thank you.
With Status Quo. Status Quo is reporting alongside Midas Touch on the ground. Oh wait, no, this is no longer live. I apologize. I suspect that they're. Oh wait, they just ended their live stream? I guess they just ended their live stream. They're not live anymore.
I'll be on screen right now.
2 weeks ago, and we took that block. We took that block, and then the state took it.
Are you staying or are you flying? I'm staying the day, but I don't know. I don't know what's happening right now, so I don't even know if I'm gonna fucking stay another day. Mass F? What? New channel is live here.
So, I want to apologize for any profanity you guys might hear, but this is.
Oh, this is KR11. It's local news.
So we'll send it back to you.
Yelling some words as you walked up the street. And I want to ask you, you came out here today on a day that is negative temperatures. Why?
Care sucks? Bro, all the fucking local news in Minnesota is kind of bad. I'll be honest with you.
I support the police. I support the military. I love South Minneapolis. And today this could have just as easily been me that got shot.
Why? Why so?
Because I'm a Minnesota permit carrier. I love donuts. I could have been in the donut shop. I would have came out and I probably would have filmed ICE because I don't think what they're doing is right. And so I had to come down here and see the spot. And I just can't believe that they shot him in cold blood.
As a Minnesotan, seeing everybody out here today, you said that you were also out on these streets during 2020. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. I rode my bike down here after they killed George Floyd, and I cried after what I saw that they did to my neighborhood, and I just pray that everybody stays vigilant but also peaceful, because I don't want to see this happen to my city again. Call in the National Guard, keep things quiet, but get ICE out of here. I don't think ICE belongs here. I've never had a problem in South Minneapolis with immigrants.
They feed me. They roof my house.
You think this guy's a fucking radical, guys?
I just
You
don't
think
get
this
it.
guy
3,000
is
of
anything
them?
but a median voter?
I don't get it. That's why I'm here.
Can I give you a hug, man?
Yes, sir.
All right. I think we need more of that today. That's something easily that we can agree on.
So I'm going to go see the spot and figure out what my next move is.
Okay. You take care of yourself, and that's what's most important today. Okay,
guys,
thank you very much. Yeah, and Susan Elizabeth has been saying all morning long, I think we can all agree that an individual did die, and so that's why that man was saying earlier that he showed up here. But I do want to show you guys, because we were out here earlier when chemical irritants were deployed, and it was more intense. As
These are
right now you
fucking
can see
human
it's
beings,
a little
dude.
calmer, and that's just where we
They're
are
human
right now.
beings. There's only so much. There's only so much fucking punishment that they'll take. Okay? There's only so much of this cruelty that they will sit idly by and allow to take place. Okay?
And, now we're just seeing people pouring.
There's a point
around.
of no
what
return.
I do want to show you is something we found on the ground, and that's a rubber bullet right there. Just one of the tools that has been used. My photojournalist Ray's just asked me to back up right there. Is that good, Ray? Can you see that right there? Yeah.
Asmongold's calling it a worthwhile mistake. Under different circumstances, I say, who the fuck cares about what Asmongold has to say or think in this process? But the reason why it's important is because he voices the perspective of the fucking hogs. Okay? So that means that the hogs are also fucking looking at the situation and being like, maybe this is a little bit indefensible. The very same people that literally turned around and said, Renee good, it's good that she got killed, fuck around and find out, are now saying, okay, this might be like a mistake.
Where we are expecting to hear from Drew Evans within about the next 10 or 15 minutes. Hi, Caroline.
Well, hi there, Derek. So, yes, we are going to hear from Superintendent Drew Evans of the BCA. This comes after the BCA said earlier that the agents were blocked from accessing the scene by DHS. We did hear from Governor Tim Walz and Commissioner of Public Safety Bob Jacobson, who didn't go into so much detail about the investigation, but did say that, you know, when the agents did arrive at the scene, he made a mention of federal law enforcement leaving the scene, and that it was really hard for them to contain the scene because there were not enough resources there with all of the commotion and the protesters around. So we should hear from Superintendent of the BCA there, and in the next 15 minutes more about the BCA's process and what comes next. Of course, in the past, with the Renee Good shooting, there was a point of contention between the state and the federal authorities. The state said that they were not allowed to access evidence in that investigation. They implored the federal government to reconsider so they could do their own investigation. At this time, BCA is not investigating that incident, and we will soon know what comes next for if and how BCA is investigating this shooting today, guys. I apologize. I might have lost you in my ear there, but hopefully you can hear me.
Yeah, we heard it all. Thank you, Caroline. We'll look forward to that coming up, we believe, at 3 o'clock. So
Yes.
we'll get more information, be able to ask some questions about that as well.
We have gotten a Republican response from Congressman Tom Emmer, and he put this out on X earlier today. This was before we had the press conference with Bavino. He said the governor and local leaders' rhetoric has empowered criminals and put federal law enforcement lives at risk. It's dangerous and has made the situation in Minneapolis much worse. Unlike my Democrat colleagues, I'm going to let law enforcement conduct their investigation and not jump to asinine conclusions. We are grateful no Border Patrol officers were harmed. So that is another perspective we got right there from Republican leadership from the state.
And we have heard from both Republicans and Democrats today to not rush to judgment in this situation. There are obviously so many questions. There's obviously going to be more pieces of video because we are getting them by the minute and going over them leading up to this incident this morning where a federal agent shot this 37-year-old man, Alex Pretti.
It's interesting they say that, but we've already seen like 3 instances of rush to judgment by either appointed or local officials. So it's strange times because there's such a disconnect on what people are saying versus what they're doing. Yeah.
Yes.
So.
Well, we want to keep it focused on the victim here, of course, Alex Pretti. We know that this is, you know, I say the person who died. You know, we don't know what happened leading up to it. We know that federal officers say this person showed a gun. We are told by Minneapolis police chief that this was a lawful carrier. We're also told that Alex is an ICU nurse. You can see right there, it looks like, just like you predicted, Frank, that there's a memorial popping up to remember Alex. And it looks like mourners standing right there where he lost his life, which is the center of people's interest today all around the country. People trying to figure out what happened in this case. But you can see the crowd is gathering. And, you know, we saw so much mourning for Renee. It looks like the mourning has started here again. Something we are waiting for, more answers. You know, we've heard from so many different agencies so far about what happened. And we're going to hear from the state police, the BCA.
Are you gonna wear double socks today? The toes get cold fast. Yeah, I have triple socks. I have heated socks. I'm charging them right now.
To the Hennepin County Jail website, see who was booked, see when, the roster.
This morning I ordered heated socks. I ordered heated gloves. I got heated gloves, heated socks. I got another balaclava as well. That's like a little bit, it might be better. It's like a Jordan Fly Warm hood. I don't know if it's like better than what I have currently. The one that I had before. It might not be better. I think the one I have is better. This is too tight. Because the one I have, yeah, this is too tight. It's like fucking up my nose. I can't even breathe in this. But, yeah, I got a plate carrier as well with a press badge on it that I got from security. So don't make your feet too hot because they'll sweat. Your feet will freeze quicker. Yeah, I know.
26 in Nicollet, especially right here. The one right here, there's one directly next to us.
People are still going to think you're an ICE agent, man. I know.
Next crossroads as well. There have been dumpsters set up, tray tables, and different things being set up to kind of keep cars from coming down here. And as the cars have been driving past, some just kind of drive on their way. Some have honked and showing their support as they go past here. But this is kind of what it looks like. And I'm assuming these are tables probably from a nearby restaurant. If I guess, trash cans, there's a picnic table. There's a lot of restaurants around here, so I would presume that's where a lot of these are coming from. But yeah, peaceful is how I would say this is right now. People are talking, kind of expressing their thoughts with each other. You hear them cheering right now as the speaker just said something. I wasn't able to hear exactly what they said, but listening, standing up with each other, and peaceful, I think is the word to kind of encapsulate what we're seeing right now, guys.
We know that later on tonight there is a vigil scheduled for 5 p.m. Are these folks planning to be out there until that point? Do you have any idea from the people who are there sort of what their plan is for the remainder of the day?
That I do not know. Is it the MIRAC press conference I think I saw?
Yeah.
I've seen some folks with the logo on the hats that they're wearing. So
this one is
I'm not
fucking
entirely
nuts.
Sure.
Like
I can see if I can
this.
find someone wearing one of those. There's quite a few of their folks walking around.
This turtleneck is completely insane too. So it's like, 3-layer system, wicking base, insulated, puffy / fleece, hard shell. No, I'm doing 4 layers. This is what is it? Montclair. It's like fucking insanely insulated. I got these in. I got this in Japan. It's like crazy. And it's, I don't know what it is, but I think it's like wool or something. The BCA Force Investigations Unit has been requested by Minneapolis police to investigate the morning's federal agent shooting. Our agents and crime scene personnel attempted to access the location, but were blocked by DHS. Jesus fucking Christ.
Crime scene personnel attempted to access the location, but were blocked by DHS personnel at the scene. So again, we're going to hear from the BCA in about Oh, well, about 5 minutes, but some of these news conferences.
4 layers, you gonna sweat like a motherfucker?
We'll take you to that just as soon as it is available. I also wanted to point out, we just got a statement from the Minnesota Gun Owners Caucus. They released a statement on the death of Alex Pretti. They're saying, we are deeply concerned by this morning's reports that a federal law enforcement operation in Minneapolis resulted in the fatal shooting of 37-year-old Alex Pretti by federal agents. According to local officials, the man was legally armed. A firearm was recovered at the scene, and he is believed to have been a lawful gun owner and permit to carry holder. Many critical facts remain unknown. That is the truest thing we can say right now. We do not yet have an independent account of what initiated the encounter or what triggered the use of deadly force. Despite widespread speculation regarding intent, there has been no evidence produced indicating an intent to harm the officers. We are calling for a full
hand
and
warmers and body warmers for
investigation by
mutual
both
aid.
state and federal authorities. Every peaceable Minnesotan has the right to keep and bear arms, including while attending protests.
As long as the first 2 layers are thin, he's fine.
Exercising their First Amendment rights. These rights do not disappear when someone is lawfully armed, and they must be respected.
You really need to get the picker protective services if you're going to live stream a location. The pigs might stream
Minnesota
snipe you.
Gun Owners Caucus. That is their statement that they released just a short time ago.
And we are getting
Yeah, we got some mutual aid too.
We have heard from some.
On the one hand, I got mad packs for body warmers
responding not only
and a
to
bunch
the
of hand
shooting,
warmers
but
as
to
well.
Some of the statements that Governor Walz and others have made. Let's see if we can pull those up. This is Tom Emmer, congressman who represents a central Minnesota district. The governor and local leaders' rhetoric has empowered criminals and put law enforcement's lives at risk. It's dangerous and has made the situation in Minneapolis much worse. Unlike my Democrat colleagues, I'm going to let law enforcement conduct their investigation and not jump to asinine conclusions. We are grateful no Border Patrol officers were harmed. I believe we also have a statement from Lisa Davis.
Dog, that's your fucking constituent, man. That's your constituent you're talking about. He said he's grateful that fucking no ICE agents were harmed. Brother, are you grateful that one of your fucking voters was killed? Like, what's wrong with you?
Were able to peaceably demonstrate, or peacefully, I should say, demonstrate without a single incident.
Yeah, ICE is now responsible for 66% of the homicides in Minneapolis this year.
Confrontation, including the attempted disruption of law enforcement operations and throwing of dangerous objects. These dangerous tactics put lives of officers and the public at risk. We can have protest. We can have lawful monitoring of ongoing law enforcement operations. But it's going to take leadership at all levels of government to turn down the temperature. I spoke earlier this week with Vice President Vance, who expressed both publicly and privately a sincere desire to foster better cooperation between the federal government and state and local officials. But that cooperation is what has been called into question all day long by the BCA and Minnesota officials who are saying that they are unable to work with the FBI to investigate this. Let's also hear from Senator Amy Klobuchar, a Democrat. There has been another shooting involving federal agents in Minneapolis, and I'm working to get more information. I will update as soon as possible. To the Trump administration and our Republicans in Congress who have stood silent, get ICE out of our state now.
Also to point out, she is running for governor.
As well.
Or she's filed papers.
Filed paperwork,
to run as
yes.
governor, not official.
All right, here's Senator Tina Smith, another Democrat representing Minnesota in the...
It's crazy. It's just like ICE keeps murking unarmed civilians, civilians that are disarmed. The administration keeps saying they deserved it and more of it should happen. And you got local fucking politicians being like, hey, guys, turn the temperature down. Bitch, the admin is not turning the temperature down. The fuck are people supposed to do?
What are you seeing out
Just
there
eat it
right
every
now?
day?
You can
Hey,
hear the
guys, turn the
chanting,
temperature
and
down.
it
Just
seems
fucking comply and die. Comply and die.
Yeah, and I do want to apologize for any profanity you might hear. It's kind of intermixed within the chanting, but nothing has really changed since we last checked in. I haven't seen...
Here, let's hear what... This is the ongoing demonstrations by detainees over conditions at Dilley. Incredible courage from these families and children. You can tell by the sound of their voices that so many of those shouting Libertad and let us go are children. This is at the Dilley facility where there's a crowd forming outside of it as well, where like all the detained are. Look.
I'm outside. I'm outside. It doesn't say out here. And I've just been ordered to leave the premises. And she's yelling at me right now, so I'm gonna head back to my car and try and keep you abreast of the situation.
This is Stephen Miller's design, man. This is what we're doing. This is the United States of America currently in 2026. This is where we're at. We got children in concentration camps, and we got those Nazis running around in the streets trying to fucking kidnap people. And in the process of kidnapping people, good neighbors are saying, nah, you can't do that. Good neighbors that are fucking putting their bodies on the line and getting killed for it. And then the fucking Fourth Reich, led by stupid ass Donald Trump, is justifying those executions. Turn the fucking temperature down. How do you turn the temperature down when the administration is turning it up? Yeah, here it is.
From now, we are going to hear. We got another situation here. Let's just listen in for a moment.
No!
Yeah, this was the one we saw already.
Stop! Look out! Damn! Just chill. Okay. I'm fine. I don't even breathe anything. I'm just angry. I'm 7 years old. Fucking angry. Oh, fuck off. I think I'll need it, but we'll try it.
Wow. What a scene in an American city.
Clearer look. I never see the man touch his firearm, and it looks like he's disarmed before being shot. Yeah, what stands out to me here is that Pretti is posing almost no threat at all before it happens. In fact, he's helping one person who's hurt, then goes to help another person who's pushed, and then appears to be sprayed right in the face before it all transpires. This is not, this is, I mean, I don't know what to say. This is just so fucking inappropriate.
What occurred was our team responded to the scene, and I was in contact with federal authorities to inform them that that was going to occur and that we were responding to the scene in Minneapolis. When our team arrived, they were blocked by federal agents with the Department of Homeland Security from accessing the scene. We worked with them and were in contact with the FBI, trying to attempt to access the scene so we can gather evidence to understand what occurred and work through this process. Our team also secured a search warrant for the scene, which is an unusual move in a public area like that, but we did that attempting to have judicial approval to enter this scene to gather evidence. We were once again blocked by federal authorities to go in and do that scene examination. We have a long history of working side by side with the Federal Bureau of Investigation on all types of cases. That's true in other high-profile incidents that you've seen in officer-involved shootings, and that remains the case that we do and will be going forward. They're excellent partners to us as an organization, but unfortunately, in these recent events, others outside of the state are making decisions that that does not occur. So we will continue to investigate this case and others that we have recently been involved with, but I would be remiss if I didn't state that it will be difficult to obtain all of the evidence and information contained without cooperation. It is my understanding at this time that this case is now being led by the Department of Homeland Security Investigations as an investigation into this matter, and not the FBI leading that at this point in time. As the FBI gathered information and conducted a crime scene evaluation, they left. After they left, we were attempting to move in to do our own scene examination once we can access the scene, but federal agents that cleared the scene, as was previously said, the state and local police that were
arrest them
on
for
scene
impeding the investigation. Arrest them for impeding the investigation. Get the National Guard down there to back up the local law enforcement and arrest them for impeding the investigation. What the fuck are we doing? What do you mean we can't follow our local laws? There's never been a moment in the history of the United States of America where local jurisdiction has been superseded like this aggressively, this flagrantly, in this clear-cut violation of what is supposed to happen. Okay? Yes, I know there was a visual glitch. It's fine. It was a minor visual glitch. Okay? Follow the fucking law. Follow the law. And prosecute the fucking wrongdoers if they are impeding in an investigation. It wasn't a massive F. It was a baby F. Like, what are we doing? I know it's going to be chaotic. Legally speaking, I know it's going to be fucking chaotic. Okay? Local law enforcement, that is ICE too? No, it isn't. It is not. It clearly is not. Okay? If they don't do this, it's going to get much, much worse. Prosecute the fucking ICE agents. The problem is these guys are mobilizing the fucking state law enforcement or National Guard against the public, not at the behest of the public. Trump on Minneapolis shooting, mayor and governor are inciting insurrection. The more Trump pushes like this, by the way, the more Tim Walz caves. And the more Tim Walz caves and doesn't do what's right, the worse it's going to get. Okay? You're basically saying the federal government can come in, deploy troops, like deploy federal law enforcement and shoot and kill and maim and wound regular ass Minnesotans, and there's nothing we can do about it. It's only a matter of time until regular ass Minnesotans realize that you guys are just appeasing. You're playing a very dangerous game of appeasement with a fucking fascist tyrant. What do I always say? It's just as JFK once, in a prophetic statement, said, those who make peaceful resistance impossible make violent revolution inevitable. Okay? And if you are a local politician, if you are a local administrator, your goal is to not let it get to that point. Okay? Because the admin is accelerating in that direction. So if it is an inevitability that there will be federalized National Guard units, or if there will be military deployments in Minneapolis, you want to get ahead of that. Okay? You want to get ahead of that. I understand that there will be resistance from local law enforcement. I get it. Okay? I mean, this is where George Floyd was assassinated by a local law enforcement, by Derek Chauvin. Okay? This is literally ground zero for the Black Lives Matter protest that took place in 2020. I understand that. I get it. It's not like I'm, Mr. I love cops by any means. Okay? But the very fact that these guys who are supposed to be in charge of local affairs, the administrators that are in charge of maintaining law and order, are openly and readily admitting over and over again that they can't do anything, that their fucking hands are, their hands are tied. All this shit is dangerous because you're teaching the public a very dangerous lesson that you are not on their side. Or even if you are on their side, there's nothing you can do. You are saying it is an inevitability. It is an inevitability that you have to take matters into your own hands to defend yourself. What do you think happens in that situation? No, Tim has deployed the National Guard, but they have not given them a command to prosecute and arrest the ICE agents that are very clearly in violation of the law. This is yet another assassination that took place. This is also, as I was stressing to Keith Ellison, the Attorney General of the state yesterday, an opportunity for local law enforcement to win back some good favor with the crowd. An opportunity for them to actually say that they are representing the community, that they are a part of Minnesota, that they are Minnesotans themselves, and not another version of a domestic occupation upon the otherwise law-abiding Minnesotans. Okay?
To say that we can do this in the manner
This is
that
a
our
rather
team
naive
normally
take
does,
on the
which is
situation.
very
No,
strict
it's not. It's not.
obviously is disrupted.
It's not.
We don't have access to the crime scene.
I know what they're going to do. You guys are misunderstanding my point here. You're misunderstanding my point here. I'm not saying that that is what cops are going to do. I'm not saying that that's what the National Guard is going to do. I'm saying that the very fact that they're not even deploying them in that direction, the very fact that local leaders are not deploying them in the direction of protecting the fucking civilians is wrong. Because, look, when local administrators deploy law enforcement to do like riot control, right? They do that because there's a calculation. The calculation is they're protecting some Minnesotans over others. Okay? Some Minnesotans that are otherwise like law-abiding small business owners, that's who they have in mind. They're protecting capital, right? But this is a very different situation than that. And the reason for why this is a very different situation is because small fucking business owners and all Minnesotans are now against ICE, an outside federal agency that has been deployed as a domestic occupation, a militarized federal agency that is basically invading Minnesota from the outside. In that situation, there's no one that you're doing this for other than the federal government. Okay? If you deploy cops and National Guard as riot police, you are basically siding with the federal government. If you're looking at this as like us versus them, in the past, during like Black Lives Matter protests and whatnot, even though the people were united, the protests escalated, especially because of the protests were directly against local law enforcement. And local law enforcement was very violent and very aggressive. And they escalated the protests by increasing the intensity in a way to stop the protests. They increased the intensity, they escalated to violence, and protests sometimes turned into riots. And then when those protests turned into riots, there were small businesses that were destroyed, things like that, things caught on fire, right? So then there was at least like a percentage of the population, and I'm giving you this from the perspective, not my perspective, but from the perspective of like local administrators, okay? From their position, they were like, oh, we have to maintain law and order. We have to side with the cops. We have to push this down. We have to stamp out the protests. We have to stamp out the discontent. Right now, there isn't anyone, certainly not a significant percentage of Minnesotans that are on the side of ICE. The overwhelming majority of Minnesotans are against ICE. The overwhelming majority of Minnesotans are against this federal incursion. Okay? Or at least the overwhelming amount of people in Minneapolis are against this federal incursion. Even if you have like right-wing shitheads that are outside of Minneapolis in the suburbs or in the rural towns in Minnesota that think, no, ICE is actually doing the right thing, the overwhelming majority of people in Minneapolis, down to the fucking small business owners, see ICE presence as the real chaos and not the fucking protests. They're on the side of the protests. So when Tim Walz calls the National Guard against the interests, or National Guard to position against the lawful protesters, he is siding with the federal incursion. He is siding with federal this federal tyranny.
20 plus years at the BCA and a situation like that. There's certainly investigations for national security and sensitive reasons we wouldn't have a line of sight into, nor would it be our position to ask for access to information in those particular instances. In instances where there's really concurrent federal and state jurisdiction over a matter, I'm not aware of an instance where that's ever happened. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, you've been listening to Drew Evans, the superintendent of the Minnesota BCA, giving an update on their investigation. And two key takeaways from that to me were rather striking. One, is he says when the BCA team arrived, the DHS agents on scene blocked them from entering, and they were blocked even after going to a judge to get a warrant to enter the scene, which is not something that law enforcement typically has to do to go to an active scene. And the second was that, to his knowledge, DHS is leading this investigation, not the FBI. And as you know, because we have covered a number of officer-involved shootings, it is very atypical for the agency that the officer worked for to lead the investigation.
I might even say unheard of. He did also, Drew Evans did also say we are in uncharted territory, that they have a long history of working side by side, the federal government. And so this is a very unusual situation. Like you mentioned earlier, we have law enforcement calling out other law enforcement, and that just doesn't normally happen. It's been a while since we've heard from President Trump. We do know that the Governor Walz, did speak with him today, or called the White House anyway, and we do have President Trump's statement right now, and this is what he said. This is the gunman's gun, loaded with 2 additional full magazines and ready to go. What's that all about? Where are the local police? Why weren't they allowed to protect ICE officers? The mayor and the governor called them off? Question mark.
Do you think there's a chance that the labor unions will try to push for a longer general strike? I don't know. You keep saying they use National Guard, but Trump could just federalize them. I mean, the National Guard situation only works if local law enforcement is first directed to defend the interests of the public. National Guard would be additional protection, because like the number one fear, and I talk to a lot of like Democrats, the fear here is they keep saying, oh, well, local law enforcement is like outnumbered. There's 3,000 DHS agents versus like however many, cops there are out there, right? Like they're like, oh, they'll get outnumbered and outgunned. And it's like, okay, well then you have the National Guard. So that argument goes away, because I'm sorry, there is 0% chance if they actually got local law enforcement to abide by the local laws and start protecting the citizens and start fucking going after, start protecting the citizens and actually try to arrest and apprehend ICE agents, okay? And they're backed by the National Guard, there would be 0% chance in that coordinated effort, there's 0% chance the fucking ICE agents are gonna start shooting people, okay? It's not gonna happen. Anyway, on that note, I'm gonna
reported on that,
gear up right now to go
for the last several
outside.
years here.